Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning and welcome. Welcome to the Huawei Cloud Summit. My name's Tony Poulos. I'm the managing editor of Disruptive.Asia, and I'm going to be your host today. We're here to talk about the cloud, and we're going to celebrate today with Huawei the launch of their cloud services right here in Singapore, serving the Singapore region. And to kick off this morning, I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Nicholas Ma, who's the CEO of Huawei International right here in Singapore, to give you a welcoming address. Nicholas, welcome. Let's come here. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Huawei Cloud Summit. I'm very excited to have this chance to give a welcome speech on the stage. I think we appreciate your presence. And as you know, like in the last 19 years, Huawei have played the very important roles to construct the whole infrastructure for the whole telecom infrastructure in Singapore. And also we have deliver a lot of the smartphone to this market. And as in the last 19 years, I think also we are serving Singapore like in the digital transformation of the enterprise. And as everybody knows that Singapore is a financial and the center of the whole world, also the shipping center of the whole world. And I think in the coming years, Huawei Cloud will do something different for the whole market. Like we will place a lot of the cloud service solutions to serving and also a very good platform for the whole market. And as you know, like Huawei's whole mission and vision is we like bring the digital to every person, every home and organization for a fully connected, intelligent world. This is our mission and how to make it happen. I think Huawei Cloud, we are like placing the 160 services and the 140 solutions like HCS, SAP, and also our HPC, high performance computation to the market. All this one I think can serve the market and also the enterprise with intelligence. So I think today, I hope everybody can have a very fruitful conference and also have a pleasant day. And also our team will introduce a lot of the new differentiated stuff and the solutions to all of you. Thank you very much.
Good. Thank you, Nicholas. I don't know whether you realize, but this event is actually being telecast live on the internet. It's being streamed right now. So there are probably thousands in the World Wide Web out there watching us as well. You might not also know that Huawei has been operating in Singapore for over 18 years now and working very closely with educational institutions and the government here. In fact, in the future, we believe that Huawei will probably continue to work with Singapore to create value, to provide ICT training for professionals, and promote Singapore's innovative technology development. It's a great place to do all of those things. And to help us understand that a little bit better, we've got with us today Mr. Philip Hia, who is the Assistant Chief Executive for Technology and Infrastructure at IMDA. He's going to make a keynote speech to us now about the new digital capabilities to prepare business for the future, and of course, Service 4.0 that we're hearing a lot about. So without further ado, Mr. Philip Hia. Welcome.
Thanks. Okay, firstly, I'd like to thank Huawei for inviting me to this conference. We talk about building new digital capabilities for businesses in the future. For us to know what are the capabilities we need to build, we need to know where businesses needs to go. Now, we may not have all the answers, but we'd like to share with you the journey that we went through last year in building our tech roadmap. Okay, so in November last year, we launched our Services and Digital Economy Tech Roadmap, where we introduced two key concepts. Services 4.0, which is where companies need to go as far as delivering the next generation of services is concerned, and Go Cloud Native being the infrastructure that companies need to put in place in order to deliver those services. So the tech roadmap is add-on to the many digital plans that IMDA has launched, including all the tech roadmaps, all the industry transformation maps. So the tech roadmap looks at 3 to 5 years and beyond 5 years where the investments we need to invest in. We didn't do this alone. We worked with the industry, and we also had the privilege of having Huawei participate in many of the work groups, including in the steering committee. So we started by looking at what we call bottom-up to see how the world has been shifting, and there were many big shifts. And the key thing that came out from this is that in a lot of these big shifts, technology was the main driver behind these shifts, was the cause of these shifts. And what were some of the technology shifts that was important for us when we look at the digital and services economy? Many of the trends that you see here, most of us are familiar, but I would like to just pick up a few. One is on the greater man-machine collaboration, more natural technological interfaces, including the greater use of codeless development tools. The implications are that technology is not just to use to enhance a company, but technology will be used to enhance the worker. And once the worker has been enhanced, then there's ability for him to deliver even better services to the customers. Now, so when we saw these shifts and the technology trends, we said, okay, so what are the opportunities and challenges? We look at 3 different layers. One is at the economy level, at the businesses and the workers. As I mentioned earlier, we think that there are great opportunities to look at new and enhanced jobs. So if there are opportunities and challenges, where do we apply it? And we think that, you know, the services economy, sectors is where we should be placing our attention to, because in Singapore, 72% of the GDP is on services, and in terms of employment, we have about 74% of our workers all employed in these sectors. So with these changes, then what is the direction that we need to move? And when we look at the solutions, we need to look from a global perspective, because we know that data is borderless, services is getting borderless, and people are also getting borderless, because digital nomads, everyone travels around. So we introduced the concept of Services 4.0. In Services 4.0, there are a few objectives that we want to achieve. Firstly, is about seamless experience for the customers. In the services environment, the customers are important. If the customer does not enjoy your services, you can't upsell to them. And when companies deliver the services, we also focus on how do we help them to create value and enhance their creativity, productivity. And we don't just look at the companies. As I mentioned, we also look at the workers. How do we create new jobs for our workers in this new environment? And when we look from the supply side, there's a lot of technology that I talked about earlier. How do we make this technology accessible to the companies and to the workers? And in so doing, we want to build an inclusive ecosystem where the various parts of the ecosystem are working together to deliver those set of services to the services company, and who also deliver the seamless experience to the customers. So broadly, those are the objectives of Service 4.0. And what is Service 4.0? Now, to us, Service 4.0 is an evolutionary experience. You know, we start from Service 1.0. Service 1.0 are manual services enabled by tools, right? You go to the bank, fill in the forms. Well, that's Service 1.0. Service 2.0 are efficient services enabled by internet. You fill in the forms on the internet, go to the website. Service 3.0 are self-services. You go to the mobile, and you're able to fill up the content, and you get the self-services. So Service 4.0 are similar services enabled by emerging tech. And what are the 4 key characteristics of Service 4.0? 1, end-to-end. 2, frictionless. 3, anticipatory and empathic. The new technology will enable this kind of service experience. Now, let me give a quick example about how these 4 experiences can play out. A typical banking transaction, your credit card limit has been hit and you cannot conduct the transaction. Service 1.0, well, you have to write to the bank to increase your credit limit. Service 2.0, you call up the service center, then they are able to do your processing, they increase your credit limit. Service 3.0 is where on your mobile, you're able to increase your own credit limit and have the transaction approved. And Service 4.0 is even before your transaction gets disapproved, the bank knows that, well, typically in the weekend, you're going for a meal, your credit limit is going to be hit, contact you first, increase that credit limit so that you do not experience even a transaction being not approved. So that is the Service 4.0 experience. Now, if Service 4.0 is where we need to go for businesses, and those are the experiences they need to achieve, what's then holding us back? Well, in our discussions with the companies, we realized that there are a lot of existing limitations. The way companies deliver their solutions, what we call monolithic, in-house, in-premise solutions, monolithic, they build everything by themselves, you know, applications they have to integrate in their own environment. Those are the kind of applications or the architecture that traditionally companies were good at, but those are also the ones that hold us back as far as moving forward is concerned. So, the tech roadmap then identifies that, you know, we need to move towards a cloud-native architecture. And I'm sure later, throughout the rest of the day, Huawei can talk a lot more about cloud-native architecture, but at a high level, we identified that, you know, at the bottom layer, we are looking at multi-cloud. It's getting mature. It's not just about private cloud, public cloud, but multi-cloud and various cloud providers combining their services together. It's about component services. It's about API, delivering what we think are 4 key values to businesses and workers. First is about being cost-effective. 2, scalability. 3 is about accessibility. And 4 is about agility. And I'd like to quickly share an example that we had last year about one of the startups that the startup registered themselves in March last year. And they adopted cloud-native architecture. And within 3 months after they incorporated the company, they started to launch a service in June. And very quickly after that, the sales increased from the tens to the thousands by the day. And so the cloud-native architecture has really helped them to deliver those services very quickly and scale, and for them to move into different companies very quickly. So those are the key benefits that we see for companies moving to cloud-native. So cloud-native is not, it's not a concept that just came up yesterday. I think there's a big evolution of the virtualization starting from the early 2000s all the way to being cloud-native. So cloud is a very mature technology that we believe today that we believe is very relevant for enterprises. And so those are the values that it brings to enterprises. It helps to lower the cost, improve the speed, helps to drive innovation and enhance business value. So if those are the clear direction that we go, what's again holding back besides just talking about moving from monolithic to cloud? I mean, through the survey that we have done, 71% of companies want to make this transition, but actually only 9% is able to achieve this, because obviously there are challenges in moving towards the cloud native, because you are not building your own applications by yourself. You are part of a broader ecosystem where collectively you are able to integrate services together to deliver end-to-end service. So as I mentioned, there are complexities in this heterogeneous environment that we all need to overcome. There are multifaceted skills that's required for this transformation. So it's not just about the architecture, it's not just about the infrastructure, but also your modes of delivery moving from waterfall to agile to DevOps. As I mentioned earlier, it is an ecosystem approach. And so a conference like this is very useful because there are many players that need to come together in order to deliver a seamless experience based on the cloud-native architecture. You got platform providers like your Huawei, you got developers like yourself, some of you that are out there, service providers, infra providers, system integrators, and technology providers. They all need to come together in order to deliver this service. I'm very glad that Huawei has launched their cloud service for Singapore today, because I think this is the right place for them to be launching the service, because there are many competitive advantages for Singapore in the launch of such services. And I won't go through this in detail. So together with the industry, such as Huawei and many of the other players that are out there, we believe that we are able to achieve the vision of the tech roadmap, which is make Singapore the launchpad for Services 4.0, that we are able to use the technology to augment our workers so that we can create an even more competitive workforce. And the launch today adds to the vibrancy of the ICM ecosystem that are here to deliver those services to our companies. And I'm glad that, when we launched the tech roadmap last year, Huawei was a founding member of our SG Digital Cloud community, where we have pledged ourselves to promote the cloud-native architecture ecosystem. And today's event is in furtherance of those commitment, and I'm very glad to be able to participate, and I wish the conference a great success. So thank you very much. Okay, but before that, we are fortunate to have our CEO here, so I'd like to invite Kiat Hao to also say a few words for the conference. Kiat Hao?
Thanks, Philip. Firstly, I'd like to thank Nicholas for inviting me and IMDA colleagues to join this important event, and welcome guests from Huawei, Patrick and Edward. Welcome to Singapore, and industry colleagues like Bill from Singtel and many of you. I think Philip shared our vision about being a cloud-native architecture, how we are driving industry transformation. Singapore, as many of you would be familiar, is going through economic transformation from where we were over the last 5-10 years, and looking ahead, where are the competitive growth for Singapore, what are the engines for driving some of these changes, and digital technologies is an important component of that. It's a crucial element for all businesses, for all industries, for all workplaces. To achieve the digital transformation of Singapore into a vibrant digital economy, important components of it will include cloud services, higher speed broadband, next generation networks, and also skills and capabilities within our industry and our workforce to take advantage of those trends. And therefore, it was important for Singapore, which is a small and open economy, to work with all partners. And we are very pleased to invite all cloud service providers, important technology players from around the world to be part of our ecosystem. And it's our privilege and honor to be able to participate in today's summit and to welcome a newest addition to the Singapore ecosystem. And I hope that this summit will be a very useful introduction to all of you from the industry, from the ICT industry, as well as from the user industries on the potential and opportunities that you can derive from applying cloud services technologies in your businesses, in your products, in your service offerings to your customers. How to remain relevant to your customers, how to be agile to their needs, may require a fundamental shift in your architectures, in your service offerings, and the government, IMD in particular, is prepared and keen to lean forward to work with our industry partners to provide this service to you, so that Singapore will become the place where you launch digital businesses, digital services and products for not just a regional market, but the rest of the world. So with that, I'd like to wish colleagues, friends from Huawei all the best, and also wish all of you a fruitful summit today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I'm not sure whether people in Singapore realise how important a role being led by the IMDA and government is, and how fruitful it is. And there are other countries in the world that keep looking at Singapore saying, why can't we emulate what's being done here? So make the best of it while you can. Thank you, gentlemen, for that introduction. And of course, the development of any innovative technology comes with cultivating, these days, artificial intelligence. We keep hearing about that. And of course, participating in AI development. Many other factors such as usability, efficiency and security of artificial intelligence have not yet been well addressed, but they will be soon. Our next speaker is Professor Oi Beng Chin, who is a distinguished professor at NUS. He's going to share with us a new perspective on how to develop AI solutions and present ongoing system development for making AI solutions not only usable and predictable, but also efficient. I can't wait to see that. Thank you very much, Professor. Come on up here. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Ben Chin from NUS. So today I'm going to talk about an old topic, something that started some 80 plus years ago, and today we try to hype it. It makes a comeback, become very hot, partly because of various advancements on hardware, on the availability of data, and of course the improvement on the network structures. For self, we have been doing systems. So we own Apache Singa. We are the one who started Apache Singa in 2014, make it as Apache project, and put into Apache incubations. Today, we're going to graduate it. Now is the V versions 2.0 and has been always ranked as one of the top 10 machine learning frameworks. This is from Singapore. That's why it's called Singa. Now, we said there's a resurgence. Although the technologies, the concept has been around for many years, so today it makes a comeback for various reasons, the main of which is the hardware. Improvements of hardware, the hardware is getting faster. We used to take many days, months to train a model. Today, it can take about 4 or 5 minutes. For example, you need 128 minutes to train a ResNet, 128 GPU. And of course, there are lots of data, lots of label data. For example, you look at ImageNet, we have about 14 million labeled images. So together with the improvements on the neural network, there is a resurgence, of course, on deep learning. So today, you can train deep learning models pretty fast today. And instead of 2 layers, today you have hundreds and thousands of layers. We used to have ImageNet competitions, started with 8 layers. By 2017 hit about 250 layers. So the number of layers keeps on going up. And that competitions was canceled partly because you just need to put more GPU and put more layers, you tend to get better result as a result. Now, as been said, China is competing heavily heads-on with US. And one of the advantage is the amount of labeled data. And there have been news that many factories have been turned into labeling factories, where people label the images, label the data. For supervised learning, whatever we train, we need the labeled data. For example, to train on healthcare, I need the doctors, I need the clinicians to help me to mark those data, to say which is good, which is bad, what are the features that I need to use. And for China, they have this advantage because of a huge amount of people there for them to exploit, to label the data. When you talk about big data, AI, for most of you out there in the industry, what you care about is analytics. Talking about data science, but most of you forget, before you can get to this stage, there are plenty of donkey works to be done. You have to collect the data, and we have to clean the data, annotate, and so on. integrate huge amount of work in terms of data integration. For example, we help to clean NUHS 13 years of data. We could clean up to 90%. We took 2 years using machine learning algorithms. But the other 10%, we have to rely on human, because don't forget, for healthcare data that has been collected over the years, it has used different standards, ICD-9, ICD-10, and SNOMED. And of course, in the past, we do not have type complete systems. So people guess and type in the discharge summary, rather than today, the system is much more advanced. It will help to guide the doctors to put in the discharge summary. After cleaning, then we try to integrate. We have to integrate from different sources before we can do analytics. And once we do analytics, of course, we have to interpret the results, visualize the results, and where is all this fit into big data, AI, data science. So when you look at it, everything is about big data. And applications of AI machine learning, so we could start it as early as from data abstractions all the way to visualizations. And for data science, quite often we refer to the last 2 phases to interpret the results in the context of the applications domain. For us at NUS, NUS is big, so we are just one group. I'm just one professor at NUS. We have been building systems over the years. I've been with NUS for 30 years, since 1989 when I joined NUS. So we have been building systems, and thanks, of course, to the generous funding from the government agencies such as NRF, MOE, and so on, we are able to build systems. So we built the whole stack to provide end-to-end pipeline from all the way data cleaning, crowdsourcing, all the way to visualizations. And of course, we developed Apache Singa, as I said, and for some of the applications, we have to introduce components. For example, you can see that EMRT is a transformation layers, trying to transform healthcare data, which is not a real time series, into a proper time series. We go to hospital when you are sick, the test is taken when you are sick. So that data is irregular, is biased, and you try to fit into the CNN or any neural network model, it just doesn't work. So therefore, we have to transform data to make it a time series. And of course, once I do that, then with the different domain knowledge bases, I can apply to different applications in fintech, in healthcare, security, and so on. We'll look at some examples. And I myself have 2 startups. One is Centillium, one is Medilot, one is more on healthcare, the other one is on the fintech. And for all this stack, we help to build into a sandbox at NUHS. Data is everywhere. It's nice to have private cloud, whatever cloud that you have. You just can't let anyone see your data. You just need one bad guy to leak out all the data, then we get into the GDPR, PDPA problem. So what are we going to do? We have to build a sandbox. We give you some samples for the AI developers to develop AI solutions. And to test it until it's okay, then the data owners are the one who can see the data, but nobody else. So this is a whole stack that we help to develop at NUHS. We help to make the data immutable. Nothing can be changed. We provide good data provenance. We want to know who update what happens along the way from the data, from the starting point, come to the current value. And we want to record all that. And of course, we provide different AI modules like disease progressions, modeling, readmissions, risk calculations, and so on, and feedback into the NUHS systems. Now, to do all this, there are plenty of challenges. Of course, there are plenty of opportunities. AI is still far from perfect. Still need lots of work in order to make AI as smart as human. Now, this is the life cycles of AI, so we need to do data collections, model selections, hyperparameter tuning, training, inference, and upgrade. So all these can be improved and need to be improved. Most of them are still quite difficult. For example, if you do not know AI that well, 6 weeks of training, for example, provided by some agencies will not make you an AI expert. Even for someone like myself, for some of this work, it's very tough. For hyperparameter tuning, you can do for auto ML, auto machine learning, software auto tuning, but we still need to train. We still need to go through all the different choices, all the whole search space, trying to find the right values to set it. For training, we need to train, make it as efficient as possible, and make the models as accurate as possible. For inferencing, because we have a different edge devices, so how are we going to handle when there is a resource constraint? And how about upgrade? This is what we call shift. When you design a model for certain application, but there is a change of your data distribution, your model is not going to work. This is very important if you're in banks or in investments, because these are what we call the high stack applications. Because of the shift on features, the shift on data distributions, whereas the AI models have been built based on the assumptions, based on the characteristics of data distribution. So when there's a change on the features, on the data distribution, your model is going to fail you. And therefore, we have to detect the shift, the drift, and then try to either upgrade, retrain, or propose a new model. So in order to distribute, to train deep learning models efficiently, we have to distribute. It takes about 6 days to train ResNet over one P100 GPU. I believe Huawei did it with 4 minutes, cut down to 4 minutes using 128 V100 GPU. So you can see that with more GPU, definitely you can push down the training time. And suppose you want to do it in a distributed environment, we have to distribute the training, and therefore we need to either do it in a synchronous way or asynchronous way. You do it synchronously, the problem is the communication cost. We need to update the parameters. So you need to send the data and so on. For asynchronous, the problem that is not stable. It's not stable because there are concurrent updates. So for example, someone else and a node update the parameters, and I go and override that and take longer to converge, and sometimes may not even converge. In terms of popularities of the two training models, the synchronous seems to be more popular than asynchronous. Of course, there are overheads that we have to reduce, like data transferring and synchronization. We need to transfer the parameters, the weight metrics, and that costs lots of cost to the systems. And as I said, we released the first versions of Apache Singa October 2018, a couple of months before Google TensorFlow and CNTK. Up to today, you can see the graph on this side. This is the recent graph on our version 2.0. We are still faster than TensorFlow and scale much better than TensorFlow. And also you can see that on that graph, our communication cost is about half of TensorFlow. We could not get 1,000 or 2,000 nodes, so we could run on AWS only up to 128 nodes. We tried to request for more nodes, which we could not get. Also, we could only test up to 128 nodes. This is a recent test on the both latest versions of TensorFlow as well as Apache Singa. So we try to make the system as easy to use as possible. When you look at the way we structure the network, we break it down or group them into group of nodes, and each group behave like a node with a server. That parameters, one of the nodes can behave like a parameter server, then can save quite a fair bit of communication costs in the synchronizations. Of course, we provide very simple to use API, like put and get and so on, to update the weight metrics and to get the gradient back to update the SGD. The next, which we are doing now, we want to make everyone, including all of you here, like AI experts. How do we do it? We want to make it so easy to use, for you to drag and drop, easy to use interface, easy to use language, that you do not have to understand much about what I'm trying to say today, about all the neural network stuff, all the ResNet and ImageNet and all those, yet you can exploit AI. this is important because suppose you're the subject matter experts. You are the one who know the values of the data. You are the one who know which is important, which is not. I am a computer scientist. To me, everything is just a string of bytes. Whereas the doctors know which features are going to affect or indicate renal failure, AKI, and so on. The clinicians are the ones who know the data, not me. Unless I spend years of studying onto medicine, then only I start to appreciate the domain of the medicines. So these are the things that will involve, will be provided by Panda, the next versions of Apache Syngas. The first is the data automations. It's very important for us to validate the data. You just need to have some noisy data. You're going to end up with inaccuracy on your model, then you can't figure out what goes wrong. You try to debug the model, but the model is okay for the huge amount of data, but only for small percentage that create lots of problems onto the data. And of course, we have to do the rest, and to provide, we want to make it as usable as possible to be able to customize, to provide it to train on different models. Now I quickly go through, I'm running out of time, so I'm going to go through some of the examples that we work with the industry. We work with the industry through NRF funding. For example, we work with Secure Edge, which is a security company in Singapore on malware detections. We want to use deep learning to detect viruses, to auto-detect viruses, to learn new viruses, to get rid of viruses, instead of through the traditional machine learning and handcrafted feature learning. And we show that we can improve the results quite a fair bit. We are close to the traditional machine learning with handcrafted feature engineering. That is not scalable, whereas we try to do it using deep learning model that is scalable, means that less humans, less human experts are involved. And the same too, we work with the hospitals on disease progressions, modeling, and so on. So we build a whole stack, we call Gemini, that we get the data in from historical data, from the data feed, and these versions too will be tested as SGH. Then we provide alerts to the clinicians on when the person discharged, when were he likely to come back, and for what reason. This is something that we do. We work with the doctors, not just try to prevent, but also to intervene and also to cure. These are examples that we work with 5 hospitals. And through deep learning, whatever food that you take, a food log is on the web, is available on the web, iOS or Android versions. So we work with the hospitals, the clinicians, dietitians, wants to interact with the pre-diabetics or diabetic patients because they cannot take any food they like. And therefore, they have to interact. We have to pick up amount of sodium in the dishes and so on, feed it back to the doctors. The doctor will advise them. This one has gone through the clinical trial, and the results so far so good, and they're going to roll it out to more people. And of course, there's a new project given by AI.SG. AI.SG has a 150 million grant to give for all the important projects. So in this case, we want to reduce 3H. 3H, high glucose, high blood pressures, high cholesterol. All these can be controlled by medicines. But quite often, people do not comply, do not bother to take medicines. That leads to complications. Stroke and all other stroke, heart attack, limb amputations, kidney problems, eye diseases. These are the 5 complications. The governments pay lots of attention to diabetics because this is the main cause of many other problems that will incur lots of costs on the secondary health care. And the government wants to push as much of the secondary health care to the primary health care, and of course to get people to eat better, to exercise more, that reduce the 3H problem. So for this project, we have to roll out at Queenstown will be measured to see if we can push it down by 20% over 5 years. So the last slide is that it's nice to have cloud, But even if you have private cloud, you have lots of data there. Would you trust me to look at your data? The answer is most likely no, especially if you are from the banks or from sensitive organizations. So what should we do? We have to provide the data. We have to provide privacy-preserving training. I can introduce noise to the data such that AI developers can see. But on the hand, if I introduce noise, the problem is that the predictions will not be accurate. So we have to build a sandbox-like systems instead of like GitHub, what we call Git for data, to support AI as a service, to protect the data, and provide all the AI platforms. You can't see the data, but on the hand, you can see a little bit of samples, design the model, the system will run for you, then you just keep on looping in and out with the systems, but you can't touch the data, you cannot retrieve the data, therefore, your data is protected, and this is what we have designed and implemented at NUS as well. I shall end my talk now, so this, whatever information that you want to get, you can email me if you want to talk to me, get some of the papers that we have written about the work. Thank you.
Thanks, Professor. Sorry. Thank you, Professor Roy. Very, very thorough presentation. You did lose me when you started talking about TensorFlow. I started to come back with Panda, but when you got to the high cholesterol, I was with you all the way. Okay, Singapore, in case you don't know, is an international innovation center. It's also a strategic location for Chinese-funded enterprises to expand their businesses outside of China, and for foreign-funded enterprises to extend their businesses into the Asia-Pacific region. This is the place where it all happens. And to get a better understanding of how it's happening, we'd like to welcome Mr. Edward Deng, who's the president of Huawei Cloud Global Market, to talk to us about Plus AI, Grow with Intelligence. So, Edward, where are you? Come up here right away. Thank you. Round of applause. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Huawei Singapore Cloud Summit. Thank you very much for joining us. Today is an exciting moment for Huawei launch our cloud in Singapore. Huawei has made a strategic decision. We will make Singapore with Huawei one of the largest cloud nodes outside of China. Because Singapore, this place, this country, has almost everything as a cloud player we have. Here we have the best data center, the best infrastructure, the best submarine cable connecting with all the countries, the best customers, partners, high efficient government, even the best food from all the countries. I think our decision will be right. Huawei has been working in Singapore for more than 18 years. We have been providing our ICT solutions, networks, and mobile phones. And we have gained a lot of trust from the customers. So here, I'd like to repeat again, we would like to thank us a lot for all the customers in Singapore give us trust and support. Thank you. As we know, that Singapore is the first country launching the program will become the first smart nation in the world in 2025. And I think cloud and AI will be the powerful engine to make it happen. According to Huawei industry global vision, that by 2025, 100% of the enterprise application will be deployed in the cloud. And 97% of the enterprises will use artificial intelligence. If we look at the transformation like an aircraft, in fact, cloud is the wrong way, and AI, IoT, and 5G will be the engines to drive this process. So, if we look at the history, 10 years ago, we start digital transformation that was driven by internet technology, ICT, smartphones. This has helped a lot of our economic growth. From today, 10 years forwards, we are going to embrace another important transformation, which is intelligent transformation. This will give us a lot of productivity, will empower our economy. And this will be mainly driven by cloud, AI, and big data technology. So, cloud AI can really drive all the industries to be digitalized and intelligentized. So you can see many industries, public safety, education, healthcare, media, pharmacy, logistics, finance, insurance, retail, manufacturing. Many industries will benefit from this. In fact, the professor from NUS has introduced their practice, which is amazing. And we have found a lot of successful cases in all the industries. So here, I'd like to share with you some of our practice and some reference that we think this is a powerful engine for your digital transformation. And cloud and AI together can bring you IT and operation more efficient, more powerful, and help you reduce the CapEx and the OpEx, and improve your production and bring your business agility. So here are some examples. Sina, this is one of the largest internet media company in China. There are every day 300 million visitors. This company has a strong need because something happening, some big news happening. In several minutes, the visitors, the resources needed expanding several times, maybe 10 times, 20 times more. So while we provide elastic virtual machine capability, help this company to handle peak traffic. And we can give them this flexibility within minutes. So this greatly helps this company reduce the fixed cost. Another big industry in China is Inc., live streaming industry. They provide broadcasting services to all the public. The most important requirement is better video image quality with affordable price. So in this case, while we provide FPGA capability plus OBS solutions and H.265 technology, which we can offer the best industry quality of video and image, and reduce the video transcoding costs by 50%. And we offer them storage and seeding costs 25%. So this has become the key fact for this company to be successful in business. So in overall, Huawei's cloud, actually we come to this market is later than other peers. However, this is our advantage because we can use the best technology, best chipset, and best framework to provide the most powerful weapon to our customers. So actually, Huawei provide the industry-leading cloud infrastructure services, which is better than anybody else. Number one is Elastic Cloud Server. Actually, this combines 50% of the cloud usage. This one, Huawei S6 Elastic Computer Server, we launched in the same day with Intel Exxon Cascade Lake. This is the best, fastest CPU in the world. And this provides the superpower of the computing capability, which average 40% value for money. The second is ARM. ARM Cloud Server, Huawei is also the leader in this market. We provide twice of the capacity than others in the same instance. And we are compatible with around 10 popular OS. And bare metal services, Huawei is the first vendor in the industry to provide bare metal services. And based on Kunlun server, This has the highest specifications in the industry, which is perfect for the high-performance computing for many different industries. And Huawei also provide objective storage services based on our unique algorithm. This technology provides twice higher performance than others in the same configuration, which is perfect for help you to handle data. So this powerful weapon is very good for your cloud services. And there are some other examples. One is Huawei, used for Huawei consumer business. As you know, Huawei devices consumer now is the second largest in the world. We have 450 million users use Huawei phone every day. And we have a lot of app carrier, videos, music, apps in our mobile phones. So we use microservices to handle this because we need to release new products, new services almost every day. So only microservices can handle this. Another example is financial department in Shanxi province. This province before, if they want to release a new services, they need to take 3 months. But now, thanks to microservices, within 3 months, they deployed 40 services, microservices, which is accelerating a lot of the innovation. So all of this, thanks to our microservices. In fact, microservices help our companies, our developers, to put the innovation in a unit, in a single unit, which can greatly accelerate innovation. And the service stage is Huawei one-stop cloud-native microservices platform to support your agile DevOps. So any company, you can enjoy the benefit from DevOps. That single instance throughput Huawei provided is more than 300,000 TPS. This is very, very fast, which is a triple compared with Spring Cloud and others. Another important is container. In fact, container is a very popular way to let application go cloud. There is a very hot topic of the company, how to use container. What is the benefit of container? In fact, for my opinion, that container offers 3 benefits. One is greatly enhance your resource utilization rate by 50%. Second is to enable you have the elastic scaling capability. Number 3 is container can help you a lot to build up isolated environments that help you to speed up your innovation. So Huawei provide 4 containers, bare metal, Windows, GPU, and virtual machine containers. This is very good to support your application. And we are ranking top 3 Kubernetes contributor globally. And we provide best performance for your container. And with Huawei, not only we use cloud and AI, we leverage our product solutions in 5G, IoT, and smart terminals to help our customers accelerating intelligent transformation. Here is 3 examples. By the end of last year, we cooperated with China Central TV, CCTV, to build up the world-based first 5G new media platform, cover whole country. And also last month, we signed cooperation agreement with Palace Museum to build up a 5G smart palace museum. That by the end of this year, if you visit Beijing Palace Museum, you will get a fantastic experience. And also last week, we signed with Xiangyang car manufacturer to deploy smart traveling solution. We will use 5G cloud AI technology to build up unmanned autonomous ground vehicles. The second part, I'd like to introduce hybrid cloud. As we know that most of the companies has virtualized IT solutions on premises, has a private cloud. But in the journey, they need to go with applications to go up the public cloud. So what is the best solution to support this process? And Huawei provided the best hybrid cloud solution to help our large enterprises. This solution will help you, help the company enjoy the data security. The applications belongs to the company, but also enjoy the company get the best benefit innovation from the public cloud. So this solution provides perfect efficiency, security, and business agility to the company. In the same time, reduce a lot of cost for these companies. And I can say, no doubt, Huawei is a leader in hybrid cloud in the industry. Here is an example. This is Huawei our itself. Now, Huawei has developed our business to more than 107 billion US dollar. And also, we are ranking 72 Fortune 500. We have become a very big company. But in fact, during past 5 years, our staff number kept almost the same. It's 108,000. We are not increased the staff number. And many transformation is because of the way we introduce digital and intelligent transformation. Many applications, IT applications, business applications, we are running over our cloud and artificial intelligence. We have a lot of practice, and we can handle everything, our work with a mobile phone. So this greatly improves Huawei's business agility. So now Huawei Cloud has serving many large companies, which we think is the first choice for the large enterprises in the Cloud 2.0 era. That 48 of the Fortune 100 and 221 of Fortune Global 500 companies, they are using Huawei Cloud and ICT solutions. Now, with Huawei's comprehensive solutions, we built up two types of the solutions. It's very, very suitable for your needs. First is general scenario solutions. This covers from backup and store, business applications, enterprise office, high-performance computing, hybrid, infrastructure, media, IoT, IPv6, scientist computing, web and mobile. This is perfect for any company, any organization. The second part of the solution is industry-specific solutions. This is industry-tailored solutions. Many of them we have already finished the pre-integration, covering automobiles, campus, e-commerce, education, financial services, gaming, healthcare, manufacturing, media, entertainment, retail, transportation, and logistics. It's very for you to use it because many solutions has been verified, has been tested, has been put almost a lot of applications. So there are some examples. This is a government, Haikou. It's a capital city of Highland Island. This government used hybrid government cloud to build up a very intelligent Haikou city. So they greatly increased their resources utilization, 35%, and reduced their TCO, 50%. Another example is Santander Bank. This is one of the largest banks in the world. They have almost more than 10,000 shops, branches. So Huawei Cloud helps this bank build up the services. We support multi-cloud and disaster recovery solutions. This cloud solution greatly supports their credit loan services. And with our support, they reduced 50% of the construction cost and increased a lot of their reliability. So at Huawei, we understand it's critical for our customers to protect their data and privacy. So this has become Huawei's top priority to protect cybersecurity and privacy for our customers. And Huawei has a strongest commitment that we will protect the data privacy right of our customers. We will keep the policy of data neutral. We will never use our customers' data for Huawei's own purpose. Huawei has passed 41 international recognized certifications. And Huawei has decided we put $2 billion investment in this area to strengthen our capability to provide best solutions for our customers. Here are a comprehensive security system Huawei built up for our customers, which is a physical environment, network, hosts, applications, data, and security management. And in our company, we have a systematic way to manage how to provide the best security product services for our customers, how to avoid the attacks from outside. Number 3, we are talking about intelligent transformation. How Huawei's cloud and artificial intelligence help our company to transform. Based on our hundreds of practice, finally we find out there are 4 benefits in this intelligent transformation. First is increase the greatly productivity. Secondly, increase the efficiency. And the third one is duplicate your expertise. Before, maybe you have 300 doctors, but now you can have 1,000 doctors. And because of this, will bring you revenue and profit growth. Let's look at some examples. This is what's happening in China. Now you see China is in a big wave that many companies, government is adopting artificial intelligence. That we have find the right model to accelerating this process, which is Huawei provide very good algorithm, provide very good computing power, artificial intelligence solutions. And our customers, partners, including government, provide their data, provide their industry know-how. So we combine together. This is the best model that accelerating. So now we have already deployed in 10 industries, more than 300 projects. So let's see the first one, application in health industry. Unfortunately, one woman will die because of the cervical cancer in every 15 minutes, unfortunately. So actually, we are fighting to change it. So this is example, Huawei AI work together with KingMed Health diagnostic company to change. We have a solution, AI solution that help the doctors to improve the capability to scan and inference more the pictures that we can recognize the cervical cancer. We can have a specificity 80%, and we can have a sensitivity 99%. So before this company, every day they can only check 500, but now they can check 2,000. So please show a video to see how it's going on.
Cooperating with Huawei Cloud, we use innovative one-stop EI development platform for semi-automatic marking of pathological cell lesions, which generates accurate analysis reports based on cloud services such as DLS, image recognition, and NLP. With AI technology assisting the whole process, 80 to 90% of normal images can be automatically screened, improving screening efficiency by 5 to 10 times and increasing diagnosis accuracy.
华为云 EI 服务和今日医学病理医生的强强联合，让普通人也能享受到专家服务，帮助宫颈癌筛查走得更深、走得更远。同时，治疗的时间成本和金钱成本也将大大降低。今后我们将继续展开在乳腺癌、肺癌等多个领域的合作。相信随着这项技术的日趋成熟与完善，将为更多的癌症患者带去健康，让更多的家庭得以完善。
In the future, Huawei will continue to work with KingMed Diagnostics to expand the use of EI services in the medical industry, from reducing screen analysis times to producing accurate diagnosis reports. We are dedicated to improving the lives of patients. Based on various factors, such as cancer cell type, we will also provide suggestions on drug selection especially targeted drugs. Huawei Cloud, caring for you.
We have a plan to expanding this technology in medical area to more than 10,000 hospitals in China. And also we're expanding these services to Asia Pacific, Africa to benefit more people. Not this one for cancer, but also for many other diseases, even including DNA testing. We think that this has a great future in our industry, health industry. Another example is use AI in transportation jams control. These two cases in Beijing and Shenzhen Traffic Police Bureau, we work together to use this to handle traffic robots, management control. So actually, average congestion time has reduced 17%, and average vehicle speed has increased to 15%. And this case has been attracted attention from Thailand, Bangkok. So the Bangkok has a very intensive traffic jam. Now we are also invited to help Bangkok to release the traffic jam. So we think that in Asia Pacific, in many big cities, this technology will have very, very good use. Another important industry is mining industry. In mining industry, that is a manufacturing industry, there are many multi-domain collaborations needed because from a core, you need to get from the different resources. And during the production process, you have different oxygen, you different temperature, different control parameters. So there are complicated dimensions parameters that is very difficult for you to focus and to control the quality. So we use AI technology to help this manufacturer to manage all the multi-domain collaboration and parameters. So finally, we are perfectly to forecast and manage the quality of the production. So we increase the quality prediction accuracy is 95%. And this greatly helps this manufacturing company reduce $1.5 million cost with every 1 million tons of production. Another very exciting usage is airport. Everybody has experience. If you landing in an airport, you don't want to go to shuttle bus because it's too hot, it's raining, right? So everybody wants to go to the air bridge. But unfortunately, this airport has 69 air bridge, but they have 250 parking space for airplane. So you need to have a right management. And every day this airport has 1,000 inbound and outbound flights. So it's very complicated, you need to manage. So before, this managed by manual, by some technology, which is not enough. Now thanks to AI technology, which perfectly helps them solve the problem, that we can increase the air bridge docking rate 5%. You don't see this 5% is small. Actually, every year, 2.5 million passengers avoid to take the shuttle bus. Actually, this increased a lot of the passenger rate and efficiency. Another example is used in logistics industry. This company called Depong. This is one of the largest logistics company in China. Every day, they have 3,000 trucks use this to upload, loading and unloading the goods. Because as a customers, we are worried that they are going to give us broken goods. So this company equipped more than 500 people using 13,000 video to monitor it, to see what is happening. Okay, before this is used by manpower. But with AI technology, this has been replaced by cloud. So we can recognize they are using this violent loading and if this, so we can give the automatic warning. So this application can be widely used not only in logistics, but also in harbor, in transportation, in many areas. And also, AI also can go to home. We have been working with many partners to develop AI solutions for help the elders. If the elders falling down, or the elders cannot talk, even they can wave, then somebody can come. And we can help you to identify the strangers. Sorry, this is not Mr. Obama. Looks like Obama. But can help you, okay. And also, they can recognize your happiness with your families, with your children. If they are happy or sad, this will give you the warning or give you the picture. And even AI can help you to identify the food, if it's good or not. So there are a lot of exciting applications is going to be happening at your home. So how we can help you to do that? At Huawei, we have prepared everything. We prepared a full stack, full scenario AI solution for our customers. First, this part is Huawei, our own developed chipset. This is very powerful. It's twice performance, twice faster than any others. So this has been give very, very strong power of basement for the capability of AI. Second part, we provide MindSpore, Model Arts, which is a development platform for our customers and the developers. You can easily to know how to use this tool to develop your own applications. And we also prepared general APIs and advanced APIs for you to easily to integrate with your existing system. And we have also a lot of pre-integrated solutions focused on different industries. So this has prepared everything with very easily for you to adopt and to use. So totally 59 services available and 159 functions available. And not only technology and solutions in the cloud, Huawei also provide consulting services. If you like, you can invite us, you can inform us you need. We can send our artificial intelligence experts to go to your company, go to your premise, to work with your team to define where you can use AI, how to use AI, how many benefits you can use AI. We can offer this one-day consulting services for you. And thanks to our technology advancing, we provide very, very good platform, which is a Model Arts. This is a one-stop AI development platform, which is very easy for you to use. And according to the test organized by Stanford, down bench, which is a focus on image recognition test competition, Huawei is ranking #1 in the industry. Within 4 minutes, we can finish the training, and within 2.45 milliseconds, we can have an inference performance. This is #1, this is fast in the industry. Okay, #4, I'd like to share with you Huawei Cloud and AI is a trustworthy AI for customers, partners, with global and local services and support. We adopt customer-centric culture, company culture, and we are open and sharing, and we are focused on quality and speed. So thanks to our global investment, we have a lot of global network connectivity. So we can help our customers to create connections within 170 countries within 1 minute. Because we have 400 top nodes around the world. This can provide very good quality of cloud and network. And we are continuously expanding our global presence of Huawei Cloud. So now we have 23 regions, we have 40 available zones, and 1,500 CDN nodes. So our cloud nodes covering from China, Asia Pacific, Africa, Europe, Russia, and Latin America. So we can be perfectly your partner, support your expanding of global business. And here in Singapore, Huawei has been here for 19 years, and we have 120 professional local IT, cloud, and AI engineers to help you. And we have 120 partners locally. And Huawei adopt an open and win-win policy. We welcome all the partners to join us to grow up together. So in Huawei Cloud, we open to many types of the customers, partners. We open to consulting partner, commercial partner. We open to technology partner, service integration partner. So here we have 6,000 consulting partners. We have 1,000 technology partners. So you can contribute your part of your technology. We work together to provide integrated solutions. And we have 2,800 products on our marketplace in our cloud. So you can utilize Huawei Cloud as your platform to sell your products to globally. And we have 1 million enterprises and developers is benefit from Huawei Cloud. Here is an example. Veritas is a leading disaster recovery solution provider in the world. And this company has worked with Huawei Cloud to provide hybrid cloud disaster recovery solutions to many companies. Anta is a company. It's a very famous sport restore company. We provide these solutions to its more than 10,000 shops around the world, which greatly support their operation. So now, in the Asia-Pacific region, we have more and more customers trust and use Huawei Cloud and AI. And this number is continuously increasing. Okay. So we welcome Singapore, our partners, customers, use Huawei Cloud and AI. We will return you as the best services and quality products and services. Make a summary. Huawei Cloud and artificial intelligence will bring 4 benefits to our industry, to our customers. First is we will be your engine for your digital transformation. Second, hybrid cloud is perfect for large enterprises. Number 3, we will be your power for your intelligent transformation. Number 4, trustworthy for customers and partners. Now, I'd like to take this great moment to launch some of our great products to globally. I'm very happy to take the chance of Singapore Cloud Summit. First is C6. This is so far the best, the most powerful elastic cloud server services in the industry, in the world. It has super performance computer instance. It's perfectly to handle your workload. And this is the first server in the industry to use Intel Xeon Cascade Lake, very powerful CPU. And it has 15% higher computing performance than anybody else. That it has powerful 10 million PPS capability, which is perfect for your computing power. Second is OBS. Huawei has 3 weapons of innovation. First is our unique algorithm. Second is our priority scheduling technology. Number 3 is cascading technology. These 3 together provide a very good foundation for you to manage your intelligent data. This OBS solution has industry highest single stream bandwidth, 2.5 gigabits second, and provide you single bulk store, 100 billion objects. This is the most powerful solution for your data. And data durationability is 12 nines. So it's perfectly for you to manage your data lake, to support you to use your big data for AI. Number 3 is Taurus. This is our next new generation enterprise grade distributed database with ultra high performance. This database solution provide a very, very good performance, which is 7 times higher than native MySQL solutions. It supports cross-AZ deployment, and it's very powerful 128 terabits massive storage, which is so far the highest in the industry. This capability can help you a lot, especially for financial industry. It's very, very useful, this product. And also here in Singapore, it's important bridge connecting Western and Eastern world. So here we perfectly support the gaming company, audio, video company, internet company. They are expanding their services. We can connect with the users from globally. Huawei Cloud works together with Huawei consumer business to offer you ultimate opportunity, because we have 450 million users and we have a lot of apps. So together with Huawei Cloud, AI and our apps, this is a perfect combination for our internet and gaming partners. And we have also the industry first ARM-based cloud phone solution. Let me explain this. This is very, very good for gaming company. Because gaming company, before they develop a gaming, they don't know how is the performance if hundreds of millions of users to use it, if it's good enough or not. But this ARM-based cloud phone services is play as a role that is recognized as hundreds of millions of users is using this game in the same time. So it's perfect tools to help you to improve your gaming products. And here, it also allows Huawei program to support the companies go China and go global. So we support the companies in China to go global. We provide the best of the cloud infrastructure AI services for those companies in China through Singapore. And we also support the global companies go to China through Singapore. So we have a special program to support this initiative. We are promoting our enterprises. We are supporting our enterprises to expanding the global business. And also, Huawei is devoted to use our technology to help to protect our environment. Because as we know, our environment is in danger. And our many animals is in danger. So we work with NGO organizations to use this technology for this purpose. Please show a video.
When I first came to the rainforest, one creature above all stood out, the spider monkey. This monkey helps with seed dispersal, and their health is essential to the overall ecosystem and biodiversity of the rainforest. We can better protect the spider monkeys if we listen closely and better understand their behaviours.
AI makes it possible. At the moment, I'm collecting 200,000 hours of data, so without AI, we can't physically analyse these large data sets.
The more we know about them, the easier it is to protect them, and the easier it is for us to show the world that they matter. And that is part of our mission as well.
Here in Asia Pacific, we really want to work with Singapore partners to use this technology to help us to protect our environment, to give the warning to public about the earthquake or kind of disasters. So we think that this has a great future to help our society. So the last, I'd like to take this opportunity to we will launch Cloud and AI Open Innovation Lab here in Singapore. Our mission is that this will bring digital to every person, home, and organization. This open lab is open to everybody. It's open to every companies in Singapore. So if you have any idea, you can come. This open lab will bring you capability of AI research and development platform. We will share with you many success stories that you can duplicate in your industry. And we will also jointly develop the talents for the future, together with Singapore universities and organizations. So I'd like to strongly show you Huawei commitment. We will work together. We will embrace together to support Singapore become the first smart nation in the world. And Huawei Cloud AI will be your powerful engine for an intelligent world. Thank you a lot for your attention. Thank you.
Thanks, Edward. Thank you, Edward. Well done. Very comprehensive presentation of all of the things that we're going to be talking about or we're introducing in this market with Huawei Cloud. Huawei Cloud values its development in Singapore, as you've probably heard, and the Asia-Pacific region. You've seen here Huawei Cloud's 6 major advantages and some key products and plans. And we're going to extend on that right now because Huawei Cloud's open full-stack cloud platform and AI capabilities are industry-leading, and their intelligent cloud services will accelerate the intelligent transformation of various industries. We've seen all of those things. But right now, we'd like to actually do the launch and witness the launch of Singapore Huawei Cloud Services rollout and the Cloud and AI Innovation Lab project that Edward just spoke about. So I'd like to invite to the stage the following people. Professor Oi, who was previously speaking with us. Please come up here, Professor. I'd also, round of applause, I'd also like to invite Mr. Sumner Lemon, who is the Regional Director of Digital Transformation and Enterprise Sales, Asia Pacific for Intel. Welcome, Sumner, welcome up here. I'm going to get you guys to stand behind that cloud over there. We're going to do something interesting. I'd like to follow up with Jeetu Agrawal, who is the Vice President and GM of Digital Core Cloud at SAP. Here he is. Welcome, Jeetu. You're going to be speaking very shortly to us. Round of applause, please. And the leaders from Huawei. I'd like to invite Mr. Zhang Shunmao, who is the CTO of Huawei Cloud and AI Business, to come up here. Mr. Edward Deng, who was just here a few moments ago, to join us. And Nicholas Ma, who spoke to us first thing this morning. If I can get all of you up here. There's Nicholas coming up now. Right. Now, gentlemen, we're going to do the official launch. You've got a little button in front of you. If everybody can get ready with their hand. And I'm going to count down from 3, and when I get to 1 or 0, I want you to hit that button. So, 3, 2, 1, bang. Round of applause. It's official. We've launched. Thank you, gentlemen. Well, thank you for witnessing this very important moment, the time that Huawei Cloud did launch in Singapore. I'll get you up in a few moments. Before that, though, I would like to, you'll see coming up on the screen now a QR code. Let me explain what's going on. If you look at the back of your badge, you'll see 2 QR codes. One of them will look like the one that's coming up shortly. That QR code, if you use that QR code, it will take you to a questionnaire. And we'd really, really like you to respond to that questionnaire during the process of today. And actually, when you're leaving later on, or leaving the event, if you go to the registration counter, a few of you, or a number of you, will receive a special gift for completing that QR code. There it is there. It's on the back. Have a look at your badge now. You can actually do that questionnaire. Okay. Let's continue on. The blending of traditional business with digital business has resulted in the emergence of a data-driven digital economy. We keep hearing about it. I'm not sure if everybody's reaching that digital transformation they're striving for, but it's no longer business as usual. We know that, and organisations are realising they simply can't compete using the old-fashioned infrastructures. Business success now requires IT transformation from the data centre to multiple clouds and now right to the edge. Now let's hear from Mr. Sumner Lemon, who should know all about this. Sumner's from Intel, and he's going to share with us the era of data-centric computing. Sumner, welcome.
Thanks. Thank you very much. And I'd like to say thank you to the Huawei team for inviting me to be here. It's really a pleasure to be with you. And also, I'd like to congratulate them on launching the Huawei Cloud Node here in Singapore. And Edward mentioned that part of that is the Xeon, second generation of the Xeon Scalable Family Processor-based Elastic Cloud Service. So congratulations to the Huawei team. And like the MC mentioned, I wanted to spend some time in talking about kind of the big picture of what's happening. We've heard a lot about transformation, and we've talked a lot about technology and AI and the need to be cloud native. You know, I work for a silicon company, and we love to talk about technology. But I think it's also important that we step back and we recognize that there's really something significant that's happening in the world today. And that's the power of data. If you look at what Philip talked about this morning in his presentation about Singapore and Smart Nation, what IMDA is driving, what you could see through his presentation is the government's vision of using technology to provide better outcomes for people, to improve quality of life here in Singapore, provide better services, develop better, more effective policies for government. These changes aren't just happening in the public sector alone. They're driving significant change throughout the business world. Intel, the company I work for, is certainly affected by it, and I'm sure everyone in this room that's working for a company is feeling that pressure as well. Data is really changing the way that the economy is working. And what drives that change is the ability for us to extract insights and act on that data in a timely manner. Beng Chin, earlier in his presentation, he talked about how long AI has been around for. And that's certainly true. There's nothing really groundbreaking new in the past few years in the fundamental principles of AI. What's really changed is our ability to apply computing power and compute in a way where we can act on those insights in real time. If you can get insights from data and act on it within seconds or minutes or hours, that obviously has more impact than something that might take 6 months, 8 months, or a year to get to. So when we talk about the era of data-centric computing, that's really what we're talking about. And Edward, when he was talking, he talked about digital transformation, and he talked about maybe the need to think of that as intelligent transformation, and I think that's great. I have digital transformation in my title, but it feels like it's really become kind of a cliche. Everyone talks about it, and the more people talk about it, it loses some of its meaning. For Intel, when we think about digital transformation, what we're talking about really is reimagining the customer experience through investments in technology to help us compete. It's really pretty simple. You know, as we're able to use data to become more efficient, to be more responsive, to provide a better service, to create new offerings, win more opportunities, that's allowing many companies to be more successful. It's allowing new market entrants to disrupt industries, displacing leaders that have been in those sectors for decades. It's really driving tremendous change throughout the economic sectors in the world. Now, at the heart of that are the IT departments in these companies. And as all this change is happening, the IT departments, they're getting pushed to change from being a service delivery organization who was responsible for supporting the network, the PCs, the servers. They're going from being a support organization to really being the fundamental enablers of the business. It's the IT platform that's enabling companies to be more flexible, be more responsive, be more competitive. And so the IT people then are under the imperative to modernize the infrastructure to be able to facilitate that change. They need to accelerate time to insight, get the insights out of that data in a time frame that's fast enough for us to act on it in a meaningful way before it's too late and the data loses its value. And then, like Bengchen alluded to in his presentation, there's a need to secure everything. Data, because it has so much value, needs to be protected. It becomes a clear competitive advantage for the companies that have it. Now, you can't compete today on old infrastructure. And there are some reasons for that. And there are a few of them lined up here behind me. But think of a few examples. The amount of data that's generated today through IoT devices, various types of systems, is growing at a 30% compound annual rate. That's swamping the storage systems that companies have in place. It results in data silos where the data that has value is far removed from the people that need access to that data and the insights that it has. The networking infrastructure inside and outside the data center is getting stretched by the number of applications and the demand for connected services. These are slowing companies down, and it's a barrier to transformation. Another challenge that companies have is just aging infrastructure. The average age of servers has gone from 5 years to 7 years. And with that, there are a couple of things that happen. One, new security exploits are coming out all the time. Old hardware, old systems can be more vulnerable. The second thing is performance relative to what's available today is much lower, much slower. And so that then also has an impact. But then also anything that gets old in infrastructure, it requires more to maintain. And that drives up your operating expense. So for companies, if they really want to compete, they need to think about how they're going to refresh their infrastructure, what kind of infrastructure they need to be competitive. Now, there is a real benefit to doing this, and it's quantifiable. And Edward, when he was sharing Huawei's own experience going through digital transformation, alluded to the revenue growth they were seeing without having to increase their headcount. And that's not a unique experience. You can see a couple of data points here of companies that have gone through digital transformation. Their operating margin is nearly double those of companies that haven't transformed. They're generating more revenue per employee, and they have 50% higher net income on the revenue that they're generating. That's significant business impact. And the companies that aren't doing this, that aren't transforming, they'll be left behind because there's risk in inaction. And companies that aren't trying to keep up with their competitors, these are the ones that will be disrupted and fall behind over time. That's the risk we all face. Now, data, we've talked about the 30% growth in data that's being generated in companies. Huawei, Edward was sharing how they're able to leverage AI to grow their business. This is the data point. Huawei is a Fortune 100 company, and you can see that the data shows that for every 10% increase in the availability of data to be accessed within the organization, you get more than $65 million US increase in net income. That's profit. That's significant upside, and that's why companies like Huawei and Intel and many others are focused heavily on deploying these types of solutions and making sure that we're able to get the business insights that we need to be more competitive and be more responsive. And many of the companies that I work with and my team works with, we see them doing the same thing across the region. So what if you haven't started on this journey? Where do you begin? So one, I think the first thing to recognize is that there is a path. It requires really a holistic approach where you need to think about not just modernizing your infrastructure, but think about innovating your approach to it. How Philip was articulating IMDA's view of moving to a cloud-native architecture, I think captures really well what that journey entails. At Intel, we've broken it into 5 kind of guiding principles that are all interconnected and have a dependency on each other. The first of that is getting into a hybrid or multi-cloud type of architecture. Getting to a virtualized network. The network is often overlooked, but this is what ultimately enables you to provision services across a distributed organization. It requires putting in place a future-ready storage architecture that's going to help you handle this tsunami of data that's coming at you, make sure that it's close to where people need it, and to be able to maintain that over the longer term, you need to have a well thought out and executable analytics and AI strategy. That's how you're going to be able to capture the value out of your data. It's kind of mind-boggling to think, but of all the data that companies generate today, less than 1% of it, I think it's 0.5%, is actually analyzed with insights that can be actioned upon, taken out of that. So there's a lot of upside for companies in this space. And then, of course, to protect all of this, you need to take a multi-layered security approach. Obviously, we can't touch on all of these today, but I just wanted to double-click a little bit on the multi-cloud piece. You know, it's interesting to think that a couple of years ago that we thought about public cloud and private cloud or on-prem systems as being an either-or proposition. You either went all public cloud or you were all private. That's not the way the world is turning out. We are in a hybrid world, and in reality, it's becoming a multi-cloud world. Companies have multiple cloud providers, they have multiple private clouds, they're managing all of this complexity. The reason for doing this is this type of architecture, it enables faster time to market. It creates a platform where services can be provisioned more quickly. You're able to optimize the performance of applications, drive better ROI. You get better control, transparency, and manageability. And you also are able to enable application portability across deployment models. You're able to move applications potentially from private cloud to the public cloud and maybe even to other public cloud providers. So our recommendations when we talk to customers is, you know, there's a couple of things. One, step back and think about the applications you have and where you need to deploy them. Think about your architecture that you have in place. A hyper-converged or converged private cloud architecture gives you better manageability of your compute resources, drives better efficiency, better performance. And also choose a common cloud core that gives you consistent performance across public and private cloud. One of the things that we've seen with some customers is when they go all in with one provider and get deeply entrenched into their infrastructure and their environment and customized tools, it can sometimes be very challenging and expensive to move out of that environment. So it's important that you take a long-term view of what that architecture needs to look like. This is something that Intel's worked on for the last few years. This is our model for workload placement across public and private cloud. And we developed this after doing hundreds of workshops and interviews with our customers, both end users, ISVs, and systems integrators. And what you can see here is you basically have 4 key things that applications depend on. There's data size, the level of integration required, security, and performance at a high level. And as the requirements in each of these areas increases, there's a higher propensity for private cloud deployment. But what you'll notice in the middle is that most applications can land in either place. They can either be in the public cloud or the private cloud. And so then it becomes a conversation about which applications are really core to my business, which ones really define my competitive advantage and differentiate me from my competitors. This is a really important tool, I think, for CIOs to think about when they're architecting their cloud environment, and it's going to change. So as the ecosystem evolves, as new services and applications come to market, the propensity of applications to be deployed in a private or public cloud will change. And a great example of that is SAP. You know, we traditionally thought of SAP as a on-prem private cloud deployment maybe. It's not anymore. We're seeing many customers doing SAP deployments in the public cloud, and I think that's just a reflection of the amount of change and innovation that's happening in this space. So we're here to help. Huawei and Intel, we work very closely together with our end customers. You can see behind me, we've got links to a lot of resources online that you can research more of these topics. You can dig into some case studies. You can look at some architectural briefs on the type of deployments that others have been successful with. And yeah, reach out if there's anything we can do to help. So again, I'd like to congratulate the Huawei team on the launch of the cloud node here in Singapore, and look forward to a conversation throughout the day. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Sona. Well done. I don't know if you've noticed how fabulous the slides and the projection performance is at the back. That graph went all the way across the screen. Absolutely amazing what we can do these days. Anyway, let's keep moving on. I'd like to welcome now Mr. Zheshen Song, who is the Chief Strategy Officer of Huawei Cloud, to introduce some industry-leading products and solutions to us. So, oh, there he is here. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. And in Edward's session, he introduced Huawei Cloud. He introduced 4 advantages of Huawei Cloud. So as a newcomer, how could Huawei achieve that? So in my session, I will introduce technologies behind the scene and show you how Huawei could achieve these advantages. I will select some services and solutions that are crucial to our government and enterprise customers. And finally, I will talk about the security features of Huawei Cloud. So the foundation of a cloud is its infrastructure. And the foundation of infrastructure is its chips and hardware. Huawei is not only a public cloud provider, but a hardware vendor as well. That allows us to design and manufacture the state-of-the-art cloud hardware. What will be the future workload of cloud? So industry leaders and analyst report indicated that in the future, in cloud, they will have 2 types of computing, the regular computing and AI computing. Fortunately, 2 years ago, Huawei identified the same trend. We invested in both directions. And today, I'm glad to open our data center and show you what kind of hardware we're using in Huawei Cloud. First is about our hardware for regular computing. We have the latest Fusion Server Pro that has intelligent acceleration engine, intelligent management engine, and intelligent data center infrastructure that was designed for faster and more affordable computing. So please take a look of this short video. Okay, for regular computing, this series of products actually is the best of industry. But for AI computing, things are quite different. So for AI, especially neural network computing, training, inference, they are about tensor computing. For regular CPU, this is less efficient. Last year, Huawei announced our own chip dedicated for AI computing. It is using 3D cube architecture and is dedicated for AI. In our experiment, it can reach up to 3 TOPS per watt, which is 1,000 times higher than regular architecture. On top of this chip, we designed Atlas hardware. This series of hardware is designed for device, for edge, for cloud, and we even have a developer kit for others to try these new chips. So there is another video about our Atlas hardware. So powered by our Fusion server and our Atlas hardware, we can get the best most powerful cloud infrastructure. Huawei, our self-developed chips and hardware is the engine for our cloud. In compute, in storage, in network, we all have cutting-edge technologies. Just one example, we designed our own smart network card, which can support 10 million PPS forwarding rate. Just by using this new card, our virtual private network can achieve twice the performance than our competitors. This has been mentioned by Edward. So we use the Intel latest Cascade Lake processor to get the best virtual machine instance. Also powered by our Ascend chip and Atlas server, we have 4 computing instances for AI. In the inference computing, we can reach up to 256 TOPS, and in the training instance, we can have up to 2 petaflops, which is highest of the industry for single computing instance. Another thing worth mentioning is about bare metal server. So the specification has been mentioned by Edward. What is behind it? Actually, it is our Huawei's own Kunlun server, which is the top x86-based server of the industry, which powered this highest specification bare metal server. Also, we have this shared EVS disk, which allows Oracle database or SAP database to be migrated into cloud without modification. So after introducing this powerful infrastructure, I want to go one level up, talking about our open application platform. This is a diagram of Huawei's intelligent application platform. Application platform actually is to support a government, our enterprise customers to do digital transformation through cloud-native technologies, which exactly match this Go cloud-native movement here in Singapore. We completed over 1,000 of digital transformation projects with our customer. So the central part of this transformation is the data governance. Therefore, we designed this data lake service called Roma, which is the center of this application platform. It helps our customers to gather, to manage their precious data assets. And on top of that, we have cloud-native framework, which is used by our developers to write cloud-native applications. We have AI services, which I will introduce later, and we have blockchain services. We extended the cloud to include edge as well through our intelligent edge cloud. What is the most important thing about the application platform? We believe it is about openness, because no single vendor can supply the whole solution to our customers. Huawei adopted the open framework. Most of our services and components are fully compatible with open source projects, so that our customers can migrate their services, their applications to cloud without difficulties. Here is an example. In the previous slides, I talked about cloud and edge. This is very important because for many AI scenarios, training actually happened in cloud, but inference happened at the edge side. For our customer, there is a challenge here. They want the process, edge, cloud process, to be as smooth as possible. So the last thing they want to do is to program separately for cloud and for edge. To deal with the challenge, we are working with our customers and working with Kubernetes, this community, come up with this KubeEdge. This has identical framework than cloud and deployed in edge, so that anything that trained, that developed in cloud can be migrated, run at the edge side with no change. We contribute this back to the Kubernetes community, allow others to do incremental modification, innovation on top of that. This is just one example for our open application platform. So after introducing two services, I have two solutions to show you. Hybrid cloud. Some also mentioned hybrid cloud. So what is Huawei's hybrid cloud offering? We have two solutions for hybrid clouds. The first is our hybrid cloud, Huawei Cloud Stack Online. For customers, they only have compliance requirements. They need on-premise solution. They want to leave everything else to vendor like Huawei. We have that. This is a scaled-down version of our public cloud. It has unified architecture, unified API, unified cloud services, unified operation and maintenance module. Everything similar to public cloud. When you connect this to Huawei Cloud, and there will be no change, no experience difference using this and using cloud. For end user, it's just like a special region of a public cloud. But for certain customers, they could not allow other vendors to maintain their service, or they have their independent O&M module. For that, we have another one called Huawei Cloud Stack. This is a pure on-premise version, and it has unified architecture, but the O&M module is different, it's independent. So look at that. We have three things, right? Public cloud, two on-premise version, and they share the same architecture. What's the benefit? Any services that develop one can be migrated to the other two, so that we have the most complete ecosystem for our hybrid cloud. And another advantage of Huawei's hybrid cloud solution is, for our competitors, their so-called on-premise version can have up to like 50 nodes. Huawei's on-premise solution can have up to 2,000 computing nodes, which for most business cases, they're sufficient. So this is quite unique of the industry. Finally, about artificial intelligence services. Edward showed this diagram, and he also talked about model arts. I just want to add a little bit more about that. This is our model arts. It is AI programming platform. In Professor Oi's talk, he had a very key observation. AI is about data. AI model, training, inference, they're all about data. Therefore, this model arts actually is a one-stop shop for all the tools that are used to process data, to label the data, to train the model from data. Everything is about data. Using these tools, a programmer with no previous experience can start to design their intelligent application almost immediately. Two examples. Alcida is a Chinese manufacturer for camera, for smart camera for home. One day, they decided to add a new feature called baby crying detection. The camera actually look at the home. When baby cry, they send a warning message to their parents' smartphone. So they use our cloud and edge architecture, and they use model arts to do the design, they upload like millions of pictures to train the model. Then, once the model was trained, smart cameras actually download the model and do the inference in real time. The whole project, from the idea to the final product, it took like less than 1 month to complete. Another example, actually, Huawei is working with universities. This is a joint project with Shanghai Jiaotong University for self-driving race car. Actually, the whole project took like less than 1 week that we have a decent demo. There is a short video about that. Please take a look. So I also noticed that there is a model in the exhibition hall. So if you're interested, please take a look at that. And last but not the least is about security. As an enterprise vendor, we know the value of data to our enterprise customers. Therefore, we're committed to provide the safest cloud for our government, for enterprise. We have over 1,000 security rules. We have the complete lifecycle management, 5 layers for protections of your data so that no others can touch your data without your permission. Even a cloud provider like Huawei, without your permission, the data is invisible to us because everything in cloud was encrypted, and your customer had the key for that. So in 2017 and early this year, we published 2 white papers about the security, about privacy protection, and we are following those guidelines. We were tested by third-party labs in China, and we were recognized as the most secure cloud in China. Okay, so what makes Huawei Cloud different? We have powerful cloud infrastructure because we design and manufacture our own hardware. We use open application platform. We have this seamless hybrid cloud experience. And finally, we have this full-stack all-scenario AI. That makes Huawei Cloud different. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Shen. Thank you. Well, let's move right on. Let's hear now from Jitu Agrawal. I introduced him earlier on for the official opening. He's Vice President and GM of Digital Core Cloud at SAP Southeast Asia. And he's going to share with us SAP's cloud strategy, IoT strategy, and collaboration with Huawei as a partner. Welcome, Jitu. It's the green button. It's very easy. Thanks.
Thank you. And first of all, congratulations to the whole Huawei team for today. I think it's remarkable to see that you have a new data center, cloud data center in Singapore. So what I'm going to do during my session, quickly talk about how SAP is helping our customer to adopt the digital transformation journey and become an intelligent enterprise. So what I have done, I've started with, I'll give an example of one of the customers from Japan, where we are working with some of our partners to build. So what we have done exactly there is one of the bus transport management company. We have worked with them for them to see how we can help identify the stress level drivers go through by using the combination of AI, cloud, machine learning, with some algorithm to see how this can be reduced and how we can make their life better. Good audio.
公共交通機関や運輸業に
Look
対
at the
し
audio.
て、安心安全なソリューションを提供していきます。CTS と、人を組み合わせてソリューションを開発して、今回京福バスさんに対して、実証実験を開始していきます。
京福バスは、主にバス事業を事業の主体としております。社員数は約300人、車両数は約200両です。路線バス事業では、福井市県の福井市北東部地域を、事業エリアの中心としております。
The Hitoe sensor vest is the core element of the new SAP Connected Transportation Safety Solution. It measures biometric data like a heartbeat in real time.
In this solution, the driver wears the Hitoe shirt, and then the bio information will be collected and processed in a smartphone nearby. And then the certain information will be sent to the backend system.
今後の他のインダストリーへの展開については、今回の実証実験等の結果を踏まえて、さらにディスカッションを重ねて検討していけたらというふうに考えています。
Using pattern recognition, the SAP HANA Cloud Platform is capable of predicting changes in the driver's behavior, like increasing stress or fatigue.
このデータを活用することにより、乗務員が運転中の異常を捉えて、そしてその異常時に車両を安全に停止することができれば、このデータをうまく活用できるのではないかと期待をしております。
SAP Connected Transportation Safety provides benefits for all parties. A perfect monitoring tool, the best support for drivers, and improved safety for passengers.
So you saw that, right, earlier, that making use of the technology, and this is not a rocket science, as we heard from the professor earlier, that a lot of this, including whether you talk about cloud, whether you talk about machine learning, whether you talk about some of this artificial intelligence, it used to exist many, many years back, but maybe that time the business dynamics were not there, or either the cost or affordability of this technology was not allowing us, and we were still using the mainframes. And today where we are, the whole trend for the IT is shifting towards artificial intelligence. And I believe from morning, from various different presenters, you've been hearing this word. So what I would like to cover, maybe in a couple of more slides, how we see artificial intelligence and machine learning, some of this stuff, getting into some of the SAP solutions and making it better for you. So one of the important things which I would like to share here, that when we talk about this artificial intelligence or machine learning, what exactly is changing? What are the business dynamics? What are those competition requirements, competitive dynamics of the customers are changing? Basically, what is happening, every customer today is asking for, they want to pay for an outcome. They want outcome-based payment solutions. They are looking for every solution as a service. They want to do everything as a service. That is what an expectation from our customers. Third, and the manufacturing customers are looking for solutions like blockchain, because they want to help remove all the counterfeits from the whole manufacturing supply chain. They want a better supply chain. Fourth is around the whole cloud, which is they want as much as possible agile technology, which can be managed by somebody else. So if you look at some of these trends, so what is happening? Companies like us, the high-tech companies like SAP, Huawei, we have been challenged continuously by our customers to keep deploying, keep defining, keep designing solutions so that we can understand our customers' usability, adaptability approach, and then able to offer them solutions which could be, okay, there's no upfront going to be a capital expenditure. They want to delay the payment for an outcome. Okay, customers are asking me, how can you offer me a service which I will only pay as I use, which is utility-based computing. I want to pay for only on a cloud base. I will only pay when there is actually moving from CAPEX to OPEX discussions. And third, which is getting into the cloud or big data kind of things. So if you look at all these things, what SAP has been doing, and SAP has been like a 46-year-old company, very traditional. The ERP was running on-premise, and as you said, that was the only option in the past. But what we have done over time, we started taking some of these intelligent technologies. We started embedding them into our applications. And we also launched our new digital platform, which you see in the screen here below. And combination of our various applications and the data means, if you look at today, every customer, there's lots of data. The data could be sitting in their legacy applications. The data could be sitting in their line of business. Data could be in the form of structured, unstructured. Data could be in on-premise or in public cloud solutions. So you need to have a solution or a way to manage this data so that any commonly used tools, when you start using that data from, is able to make a decision for you. And if you can achieve that, you're able to make your enterprise more and more intelligent. So what SAP is trying to do is, one is focusing on application suite, which is on top, making sure that the whole data, wherever data is, it can be collected and stored and managed in a single data store. And on top of that, we have the whole suite of intelligent technologies, whether it is AI, whether it's machine learning. We call it different names. One of them could be Leonardo. I don't know how many of you heard that, but Leonardo is a suite of technologies which helps customer do this, achieve this intelligent enterprise. And as previous speakers talk about, there could be multiple options for customer. Customer can adopt these technologies on-prem. It could be in public cloud. It could be in the new Huawei cloud in Singapore. It could be in a combination of a private cloud running in your own data center. So it's like a very hybrid. So cloud adoption is getting very, very hybrid. That's where our customers are today. In terms of the various SAP solutions, and as I heard from Sanmar also earlier, what we also have is we let customer decide, because customer has many choices today, and each customer has the unique needs on how they would like to use their various SAP solutions. So it could be a multi-tenant, extremely on the right-hand side, which basically allows customer to utilize their SAP solution in a multi-tenanted SaaS kind of environment, but very, very standardized ERP option, which we offer today. We also have an option for customer which can be considered in a single tenant environment. The single tenant environment is basically you're running your SAP solutions on cloud, but managed in a private cloud environment by many partners today. And you can work with Huawei and many other partners. Last but not least is where customer can also adopt to bring their ERP into any kinds of various hosting options, various managed hosting options, various just supported cloud models. And it could be even combination of hybrid cloud where you try to bring a cloud into your own data center. So with that, I will try to sum up in 3 important points. One, the customer's adaptability of technology and product and services is driving this change. It requires, whether it is SAP, whether it's Huawei, whether it is any other partner sitting here, for us to start thinking about how do we productize or create our services to meet your demand. And third, there has to be, combination of offering, combination of services, which we need to embed around that to make it commercially viable for you to start getting into that digital transformation journey. And with that, I feel, and together, SAP, Huawei, we have been working together for close to 25, 30 years in globally. Huawei has been one of our global strategic partner, and most of globally, Huawei data centers are certified to run, the cloud is certified to run SAP. And I understand that the Singapore data center, which is recently launched, which will also have a same certification level because they're going to adopt the global stack here. So together with Huawei, we are looking at how we can build and help you transform your existing ERP, because there are multiple options we offer to our customers. You can bring your existing ERP to the cloud, or you can even, your choice to even start fresh, do a greenfield implementation directly onto the cloud using the latest SAP versions. So there are multiple options which we can work with, and you can connect with your local Huawei team or SAP team, and we should be able to help you with your digital transformation journey. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Jitu. Thank you. Sorry. That's a great example of how partnership works in this industry, doesn't it? And I didn't realize so many years. You said 25 years you've been working together. That's incredible. It's almost as long as I've been in the industry. Tell a lie. Okay. As the number of internet users increases, particularly with the emergence or emerging markets joining the throng. Countries like Indonesia, India, millions and millions of new users coming onto the internet. The follow-on of that is that they're starting to demand more and more content. It's the natural flow-on, using the internet first, then demanding more content. Now, we've brought someone along to give you a story. It's a fascinating story. It's about building a 1.8 billion global user base within 48 months. Think about that, 1.8 billion global user base in 48 months. And to tell us that story, we've got Mr. Jason Wang, who's a partner and CBO at ShareIt. Jason, where are you? Here he is, come right up here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, Huawei. And I would like to spend a couple of minutes here to introduce what is ShareIt and how ShareIt to achieve this kind of growth under the cloud era, which means we are using the cloud-native technology to support our miracle growth globally. So ShareIt is pretty simple. We are a consumer app. We are a technology-driven company. So as for now, we have over 1.8 billion users globally, and of which the majority, I should say 99% of them, are coming from emerging markets. That means India, Indonesia, South Asia, Middle East, Africa, and Latin America. So what we are doing is pretty simple, that no matter the users are connected or they're not connected, we're serving as the platform to distribute the digital contents and entertainment to all of the users in the emerging market. And India, Indonesia is our top market as for now. So we can say right now in total, this 1.8 billion total in stores, of which 600 million is come from India and Indonesia. And also right now, our monthly active users globally has also crossed 600 million over there. So we are born to be global. From the day one, when we incorporated our business over there, we are born to be global. We are going to serve the global users. So we are originated from China, but unfortunately, we have 0 customer in China. All of our customers are outside of China. So right now, we are running in 4 offices, Beijing, Shanghai, Delhi, and Bangalore. So here's a few samples that this is in the past decades, the most downloaded app worldwide. So we are lucky to be one of them. We are in the 9th. But we are spending 4 years owning because our company is only 4 years old. So we use 4 years to be one of the top 10. And talking about our top market, like in India right now, if we talk about monthly active users, we are ranked 3rd in the last year, only ranking after WhatsApp and Facebook. And in Indonesia, we are at the 4th position. We are only ranking after Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram over there. So here is a little bit more understanding into the market. So when we're talking about emerging market, lots of people are saying that, oh, the users over there, they're still not connected. They're still not using a decent mobile devices. So it will be very difficult to monetize from those kind of users. But what we look into that is totally different. What we look into that is right now, the users, they are started equipped with a nice quality smart devices as well as the connections over there. So what we can see in Asia Pacific region, that the internet penetration and also the smart devices penetration are getting higher and higher gradually. But during this procedure, there's a huge gap over there. When they got devices, when they get connected to the internet, but there still is lots of their requirements haven't been fulfilled due to most of the premium service provider, they are not paying too much attention to the users in emerging market. So what we do here is such kind of things we call a mega app or a super app things over there. So what we do is that no matter you're connected or you're not connected, we believe the people should have equal access to the digital entertainment. So what we do is that the youth share it to transfer, or we can say in the offline occasion that the youth share it to transfer the entertainment. It could be a video, it could be a music, It could be an app or game, something like that. And when they gradually get connected, because Share.it already dominated their daily entrance to the, when they're using mobile phones. So when they get connected, it's very natural for them to still use Share.it to discover content, to discover the entertainment and all the digital stuff. So what we believe the philosophy behind us, behind the product features, is that we are seeing that no matter they're connected, they're offline or they're online, the requirements is the same. It always to acquire content. They would like to discover content. What is something interesting over there? And also to consume the content. They're going to watch the video or play the games or listen to the music over there. And then when they finish the consumption behavior, they're saying, oh, this is an interesting one. I want to share this with my friend or within my social network over there. So in this occasion, this is going to be a circle. So what we believe is that this kind of circle is always there, no matter they're connected or they're not connected. So we have interviewed lots of our users. We do lots of surveys in the market that amazingly that the 1.8 billion users of Share.it globally, we are very proudly to say that we spend almost zero marketing fees. We acquire all of these kind of users pure organically. By how? By this word of mouth. Hey, I have a very funny video. I want you to watch it as well. Oh, you don't have a Share.it. Just simply install Share.it. So when the first day they got devices from the shopkeepers saying, hey, you can install Share.it. And then I will transfer you 10 apps, 100 music, lots of entertainment stuff over there. So the growth of Share.it is purely based on organic way. And, but the things is changing. The things is changing only from 4 years ago, when we started our journey, most of the users in emerging market, they're still not connected at all. So at that time, it is very simple. We are using our technology to help them to transfer files without any kind of internet connection. But things have been changed rapidly in the past 2 years. So when we coming into the years of 2017, we found, oh, most of the users in emerging market, they are gradually get connected. They have access. They have a decent access to internet. For example, in India, due to the revolution, that more than, I should say, more than 90% of the SIM card subscribers, they become a data consumers over there. So under this occasion, Share.it is also under a fast transformation that right now what we are doing is that not only for the offline, but also for the online. So when we come into the online scenario, we found there's lots of challenges. The challenges, number one, is that how to match the right content to the right users over there. So I think right now, when we're talking about the globalization, the first thing come to our picture, that is the language. Even for a single market like India, we have to support more than 10 languages over there. That is not a interface language. That is also the language in the content itself. So we need to understand how the user's interest and what is the content looks like. We need to match the user's interest and the content. So under this, we have built lots of AI technologies to understand both sides, and then we can match the things. So the first of the thing, definitely the natural language processing. And then in order to achieve this kind of personalized recommendation, we also use lots of active learning, transfer learning, this kind of machine learning stuff to understand the users. So we have to put the tag and features on the content and the users at the both sides. And also when we're talking about globalization, that I think all the market, they have different standard of cultural acceptance over there. So if we're talking about one single video clips, it may work very well here in Singapore. But if you play the same video clips in Middle East market, that will be definitely kind of offense to them. It might be. So under this occasion, how to audit the content, how to maintain a secure environment of content consumption for the users across globe, that become our challenge number 2. So in order to fix this kind of challenges, we have built up a human in the loop, we call HTL model for the content auditing stuff. It also uses lots of machine learning and AI-powered technologies to let machine gradually learn what is the safest standard for each market and what is the bar, where is the bar for the users across the globe. And talking about our, we're very proud to say we are one of the very early stage partner of Huawei Cloud. So during our daily interaction, especially the technologically interaction with Huawei, that we have kind of findings that number one is that we're always saying that this is the software, this is the hardware, this is very two strong pillars over that. So we surprisingly found that Huawei has a very innovative ideas about how to combine these two very strong pillars over there. So for example, this 100 GB cloud network that we all know this is the loading, the internet loading is pretty heavy in most of the occasion when we're using the cloud. So the software has its bar to resolve the problem. But innovatively, Huawei had used this kind of cutting edge, I should say, this cutting edge hardware solution to solve this problem. So most of the way we're thinking that, hey, can we resolve this problem from software itself? But sometimes it has a max limit over there. So here, this is the number one finding that Huawei is very good at to using their advantages at hardware sector to resolve the problem at software sector. So this is the number one finding. The number two is that because our very vast user base, for this 1.8 billion users worldwide, we have to understand their behavior. We also need to match the content. So we are maintaining a very large data lake. So the cost is pretty high. So how to reduce the cost to become our number one priority in the past 1 year. So post we're using Huawei technology, we found this kind of new things has efficiently help us to reduce the cost because they're using something new, which is different from the existing cloud service providers over there. So, and one more thing is that for a startup, like we're still very proud to say right now in Sherrod, we still only have a team of 400 person globally. We're pretty small, but we're supporting a pretty large user base. How to support this pretty large user base in a very efficient way, I think the multi-cloud is one of the way we have to go. You either go right now or you go it later, but this is something you have to follow with. So I think Huawei is playing significant jobs helping us to do the containerization. So if you're talking about, so what we believe is that the K8S the K8S versus the existing one, it looks like the Android versus iOS in the very, very early days over there. It is something we have to follow. And here, I think we got a very powerful partner from Huawei that they help us into understanding into our business. They talk into our engineers. They understand each and every details of our technology infrastructure over there. Then help us to fulfill this kind of containerization and evolution to the multi-cloud strategy over there. I think that is pretty critical for most of the middle or little bit junior and middle scale of the technology startups over there. So one more advantage is that, just like I said, Sherrod has 0 user base in China. All of our user is outside of China. So when we're going global, I think that is one of the strategies that Huawei leadership just released, that to how to help the companies to go to global. So during the process of Sherrod to go to global, I think we enjoy great benefits to, for partner with Huawei, because Huawei itself is a very great globalized company over there. So we have enjoyed a global support, not only from our headquarters in China, but also in most of our emerging market destinations. They also provide lots of helps. So this is all the journey we have spent with Huawei till now. I think it's going to be a great journey. It's going to be more success. I think under this kind of support and help, we're able to achieve our vision. That is to make the digital content equally accessed by everyone. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you very much. Well, another interesting partner story, and they keep coming. Our next presenter is Mr. Song Huizing, who is the manager of Base Platform Department at Sonavi Technology. He's going to introduce how to use location big data to accelerate intelligent transformation of industries. Welcome. Round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks to Huawei for the invitation. And I come from a Chinese company called Navy. I'm glad to share some information with you. And the topic of this presentation is intelligent transportation on location-based big data. And at first, I want to introduce my company. Navy was established in 2005. It's a subsidiary of 94, which is the biggest digital mine maker in China. And Navy based in Beijing, it has 4 sub-companies. Since 2005, it has been one of the leading location service provider in China. And we have the first dynamic traffic information in China. And in recent years, we have expanded our business into 2 categories. And this is our product metrics. At the bottom is the platform mine data, is the foundation of our all products. There are 3 components for the mine data: is data health, mine map, and mine lab. And in the above shows our 2 product lines. The one hand is for automotive. In this product line, we have a dynamic traffic service that traffic floor, which would be shown by the yellow, green, and map lines, red lines on the map, and traffic incident, traffic predictions, and so on. And furthermore, we have dynamic traffic, dynamic information service for drivers, such as the dynamic parking station, charging lots, and traffic weathers. And the last part we have is the sensor cloud service. It's designed for the autonomous driving vehicles. On the other hand, it's for the enterprise and the government. In this product line, the typical industry includes the traffic police, logistics, public security, fleet management, insurance, and telecom carriers. And for the enterprise and the government RBS market, we provide service for many industries. This lists some of our heavyweight customers, like Public Security Ministry of China, China Mobile, Google, insurance companies, banks, and many more. And in the dynamic service, vehicle dynamic service, we have more than 55% market share in China. Our customers include BMW, Daimler, Volkswagen, Tesla, and many other OEMs. And we also provide our service to the mobile apps like Didi, which is the Chinese Uber, and Tencent Map. So we are providing our products and the services to tens of millions of people in China every day. And as I mentioned earlier, 94 is the biggest location data provider in China. We worked on location from 2002. So we not only have a rich experience on that, but an ecosystem with our partners. So we could collect vehicle trajectory data for traffic productions. Within this time, the trajectory data has reached 100 billion kilometers and still increasing with a speed of 16 million probe data per minute. And we collect this data from many sources like the mobile apps, taxis, private cars, fleet management, and government telecom carriers. As you know, it's hard work to integrate and management so big data. The good news is we have data hub. It's a data management system including data integration, cleaning, fusion, storage, and fetching. And we set data probes to our data sources. When the data changed or upgrade, it would detect them automatically and only send back the changes. When the data, after the data cleaning and fusion, many data sandboxes would be generated. And each of the data sandbox stores only one type of data. So it makes very easy for the users to retrieve the exact data they need without redundant. And in the data hub, we have categorized our 150 types of data into 4 categories. They are infrastructure, vehicle, people, and environment. And in the infrastructure type, we have road, railway, gas station, charging station, parking lot, road signs, and so on. And in the vehicles, we have trajectory, OBD, and most importantly, we have vehicle sensor data. And in the people type, we have search logs, travel logs, behaviors, and so on. And last, in the environment category, we have grains, waters, pollution data, and weathers, and so on. Okay, by the data hub, we could integrate and manage the big data, but the charm of the big data is we could use them to get more information, to gain knowledge, to help us to solve problems. So here is MindLab. MindLab is a location big data analysis platform with the power of AI. We have released an interactive online algorithm modeling environment. Users can access data from data hub or their own, and then use the computing power on the cloud to create or test their own algorithm model. And the process work like that. First, you could select a data set and then pick a professional algorithm and modify the parameters. Or you could create a new algorithm from scratch. And after fine-tuning the model, you could generate a model template for future use. And at last, you could check the visualization result on the online notebook or publish it. So it could help the algorithm engineers to focus on the algorithm and not worried about the hardware and the software. And furthermore, for our customers convenience, we have deployed tens of professional RPS industrial algorithms like the estimate time of arrival, experience routes, traffic index, and the prediction, origin destination analysis, and so on. Okay. The last step to solve a problem is to show your conclusion to stakeholders. That is why we build MindMap. MindMap is a core engine that adapts the cutting-edge technology to create a starting map effectively. In this slide, I just show some of our map effects, like earthquake in recent decades, animation map, and 3D cities. And 3D cities, and MindMap is a highly customizable. Users could customize different map schema within 5 minutes, and it supports various platforms. It provides Web API, Android and iOS SDK, and web services to help developers to create cool map-based applications. Okay, by the data hub, MindLab and MindMap, we also developed many industrial platforms according abundant business know-how to help industrial to solve the real-world problems. We call that Mind Solution. For example, For example, the upper left one is traffic police big data platform. This platform is currently running on 5 traffic police commanding center of different cities. They use this platform to manage the infrastructure and the traffic. For example, when an unusual traffic jam happened, it would discover it and display the traffic changing history, and then do the intersection analysis. It could help the traffic police to know why these traffic jam happened, and they can take actions dealing with it. Also, the police could judge the traffic signal timing and make the traffic running at an efficient way by analyzing the traffic condition of intersections on this platform. And the upper right one is fleet management platform. It monitors millions of vehicles at the same time. Users can trace the vehicles and see is there any vehicle which has violated any traffic rules. And the system automatically records the events which happens to the vehicles when it stopped speeding, going in or out from a restriction area, and other stuff like that. Okay, as a time reason, I just introduced these two solutions, but we have other solutions like the traffic index system, which is used by the Chinese government to evaluate the severity of the traffic city, of the city traffic, and the urban planning system, and so on. Okay, through last 6 slides, I have introduced our company and our big data platform, MindData. Now we have data management, visualization, analytics, and we do have industrial solutions above them. And all of them compose a middle or a front platform. We plant it on the IDC or cloud, especially our partner Huawei Cloud. And Navifor and Huawei are strategic partners. We do cooperate not only on the cloud platform, but on the intelligent transportation, safety and security, maps and airbag service, and autonomous driving. By the powerful hardware, and EI capability of Huawei, and what's the location data and professional platform MindData, we do gain progress on several topics, especially on the intelligent transportation. So next, I would like to show some of our cases to you. Okay, as you know, along with the rapid growth of the motor vehicle quantities, the traffic jam phenomenon is more and more common. The main measure to enhance road users to feel efficient and comfortable is improving the level of the management and road capacity with traffic information and technology. So we built the traffic goal system with Huawei, and by the accurate and rich real-time data, the system could do road capacity analysis and the traffic forecast. Additionally, by Huawei EI capability, it also does traffic signal timing simulation and intelligent traffic signal control. On one hand, it changed the traffic signal control from the independent section control to the groups. And on the other hand, since it changed the traffic signal simulation from the traditional empiricism to the AI reasoning. So the global optimization and of the road capacity can be achieved. So it provides functions such as real-time traffic monitor and traffic analysis, traffic signal timing simulation, and AI-assisted automatic signal control, and to let the vehicles go faster. Okay, traffic goal focus on the growing of the road capacity, let vehicles to save their time. But there is a kind of a special vehicles. Time means life for them. They are emergency vehicles. Yes, they do care about time, short passes, and they can overspeed. This green safety channel system is built and is designed and built for them. It gets through the rescue steps from beginning to end. With the special optimized ETA and the real-time traffic information, we could provide accurate routing for the rescue mission, and then the system could calculate the suitable traffic signal status for the rescue mission. And when the emergency vehicle arriving at the intersection, the traffic jam status, the traffic signal status would just be green. And this whole program cannot be fueled by the drivers on the road, especially the emergency vehicle driver himself. Okay, both traffic goal and the green safety channel focus on a special topic, but the traffic management is an organic engineering. So this intelligent traffic management system reflects the real traffic situation and promotes the level of the management of city on one map. First, it shows the realistic 3D sense by the high precision map. It contains road lanes, traffic decks, related buildings, and so on. And then the real-time dynamic information could also be shown on this, like the vehicles, light status, and other object status. So we don't rebuild the real world on this system, but do traffic simulations and check the result of it. And we can reform all of the traffic solutions and combine the scenario reduction and AI solution to enhance the traffic management. Okay. Okay. Thank you. That's all I have for today. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Sutton. Thank you. Our next presenter is from a telecoms operator. I've been waiting all day for this one to come up. I've got Mr. Willis Sim, who is the Chief Corporate Sales and Solutions Officer at M1, to talk to us about how M1's cloud strategy and how it will help enterprise and its customers and SMEs enable digital transformation. Welcome, Willis.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I know everybody has been here since the morning, so I only got 5 slides, okay? And I'll keep it short. It's lunchtime, and I'll keep it short. And secondly, I think the slides was prepared. I was supposed to speak in Chinese, all right? But my guys have told me that I can speak in English, so it'll be quite fast. So 5 slides, I will start with 5 slides moving from here. As you know, I come from a company called M1, all right? We are Singapore's one of the three big telcos in Singapore, very innovative, very fast-moving, all right, in the industry. Today, we are the first to roll a 4G network, the first to roll an IoT network, the first to roll a fiber network, a competitive fiber network, okay? And we have launched many, many services. Today, if you look on the left, we are also the fastest. So if you are using M1 in the room today to surf the internet while I talk, please go ahead, it's okay. You can test the fastest speed. All right, so we have very fast speed as well. But I think today why I'm here is that you saw my title of the speech I'm supposed to give. Is transformation to being an ICT operator. What has happened in the telco industry is very interesting. It's evolving. Today, the users' behavior are changing. None of you today are making IDD calls. Very few of you are using our SMS. All right, and a lot of you are using data only to surf the internet and watch the video, of which the money doesn't come to M1 or then any of the telco for that matter. It goes to Google, it goes to WhatsApp, it goes to everybody else except the telcos. So for a telco operator, it's difficult and challenging times, all right? But as any good operator, we must strive to deliver better service to our customers. So for M1, we have an area of growth, which is in the B2B business. I'm sure a lot of telcos are looking to the B2B business as well. M1 is no exception. We believe that B2B business is an area of growth that we can leverage on, all right, to grow the business, even if other areas are feeling challenges. And within the B2B business, there are many areas. You've got security, big data, so many things. So again, you've got to be very focused in the certain areas, the place that you want to play in, where you can excel, where you can deliver the most maximum value to the customers that you serve today, all right? So with that, if you look at our portfolio, we have a lot of things today. I won't cover all these things. I'm sure you know M1. If you do not know, you can go to the booth on the opposite counter in the other room, okay? But maybe before I move to the next slide, we do offer a very good unlimited roaming plans, all right, for those who want to cut the cost further for telcos. All right, before I start with these things, if you look at cloud, it's a very big word. A lot of people, when we look at entering a new business for a telco, we got a lot of considerations. So people always ask me, M1, what do you know about cloud? I keep quiet. Then they ask another question. What do you know? You know, as a telco, you're always very slow, very expensive. How can you move fast? That's also a very valid question. All right, and challenges like these come out, all right? It's not easy to enter a new business for a telco to transform. But I think that's where partnership comes in, where we actually partner multi-clouds, all right? And today, we are here to partner with Huawei, all right? We constantly innovate to bring this vision forward, to be a cloud operator, all right? Do we really know a lot of things about cloud? Actually, if you look at the IT industry, the telecom industry, we've been here for so many years. In the early days, it was not called cloud. It's called data center. You put a rack in the data center, you put a server there, it's called cloud. Today, it has become cloud. In the early days, there was only firewall. Today, you got cyber security. In the early days, there was only data analysis. Today, it's called big data. So you notice that the word has kept changing. But fundamentally, the business behind it has not changed. We are just securing customers' data, helping them transform, and make sure they enjoy the benefits of technology. All right? So that's the key benefits of an operator like us. If you look at 2007, we started with servers. I remember in the early days when I started the business, in the data center, 10,000 square feet filled with racks, tons and tons, every row of racks, there was servers, hundreds and hundreds of servers that was being bought. And this was cloud in the early days, all right? But there were problems. It takes us to, one server takes 4 weeks to send from the warehouse to our data center, set it up, and then 2 months to upgrade RAM, upgrade hard disk, upgrade processor. This is the evolution, all right? And early days, the primary driver of business was email and web. And that time, bandwidth was only 10 megabits. I joined the telco a bit later, so no dial-up, so it's a bit better, all right? Then in 2012, the first cloud appeared. Here we start to have virtual private servers. Same thing, just that the server now, from 2,000 servers become 200 bigger server, all right? But architecturally, it's the same. Software-wise, it's also better. You can now virtualize the platform in the early days. But it still takes about 1 week to deploy, 1 week of lead time. And the services evolve. Now you got more players coming on board with new services. So hosting now, instead of early days appliance, it now can be a hosted service on the cloud itself, all right? And then the speed becomes 100 megabits. So you see, it's quite slow. Telco, in 14 years, the speed only moved from 100 megabits to 10 gigabits, all right? Fast forward to today. We are now working on a multi-cloud approach. So with M1, we support multi-clouds, all right, to help you actually evolve. If you want cloud A, cloud B, hopefully Huawei cloud, then we got a range of cloud for you to choose from. It's called a multi-cloud approach. This approach is very useful. Why? Because today, the customers are demanding not just 4 weeks, 2 weeks. They want on-demand service, all right? Only with a public cloud, with partnership with a large cloud operators, we can achieve this. All right, so today now, we don't really just set up for you. We give you an online dashboard that you can check your usage utility very quickly, all in the cloud. Next thing, no more concept of upgrading processor speed. All right, IaaS, upgrade, different kind of resources. Today, everything's on the cloud. In Huawei's cloud, in any cloud for the matter, all right, the resources is infinite. You scale your business as quickly as you want. All right, so that's very, very important transition. And in the early days, where applications are very specific, email, web, serving, all right, or specific application, today, you now have an ecosystem. If you go opposite, I just went to the booth opposite to take a look. So many applications. So as a customer, you really are enjoying the best of both worlds. We call this, it's like the Apple App Store or the Android App Store. Today, when you're on the cloud, you can go to any of these customers there and deploy it very quickly. You can source from China, you can source from the US. Your customers, the products that you source for to improve a business is now very, very easily sourceable. You don't have to be dependent on a local vendor anymore, all right? So your platform grows much, much larger. And of course, telco, our only value is being a pipe, all right? We are still doing a pipe business. Of course, we increase our speed. Now it's 10 gigabits, all right? We make sure that when the data is moved from your office, your house, when you're here now, to the data center, it's very, very fast. All right, so the speed will continue to evolve. So this is a transition of the journey for a telco operator. Now, then you ask, that question comes out, where do M1 play a role in this entire system? This cloud is owned by Huawei, it's owned by another operator, Amazon, or anybody. All these clouds are not owned by M1. How do you actually make money out of this entire operations? Where is the value add as a telco operator? For us, we believe that the cloud must be combined with connectivity to offer you a seamless one-stop solution. So that we put a lot of attention beyond reselling the cloud. Of course, we sell the cloud, we sell the resources, we sell the storage, we sell the processing. But our key value as a telco lies in giving you the best connectivity, the best, not only the best, but also the most secure connectivity to the cloud. So today, if you're an enterprise, you're an SME, or even a house, all right, even these particular events, if you want to connect to Huawei's cloud, you need some connectivity, and that's where the telco really play very, very well. M1 has actually laid fibers to Huawei's cloud in Singapore, all right? Not only to Huawei's cloud, every cloud in Singapore. So you can buy speeds from various speeds, from 50 megabits all the way up to 10 gigabits to reach any of these private cloud or public cloud, okay? And the links, it can be public, it can be private. It doesn't really matter. We do it both for you. Some people who want a lower cost will go for the public internet to reach the cloud. We can also offer a more expensive version, which is secured, which is private, to reach the internet. So this is the question of, are you expensive? It really depends on what the customer wants, all right? And lastly, as I mentioned, the telco, if we cannot do this well, we are in trouble. We deliver the fastest 10 gigabits network in Singapore. If you look around the region, Singapore is one of the first few countries. In the house, you are about 1 gigabits, and very low cost. If you buy M1 fiber, it's only $39 to reach 1 gig in the house. Over to the enterprise, again, very low cost. So this encourages a lot of enterprise to deliver to more and more services, move it to the cloud. Without this connectivity, the cloud is just, as I said, a cloud, a dream, okay? Now, M1 has a network that's redundant, 100% redundant, meaning that we have no outages, all right? In the cloud, as your cloud provider has no outages, we must match the capability of the cloud operator to deliver superior SLA. All right, it cannot be that the cloud operator has 100% uptime, we are 98% uptime. So we must match and be as good as a cloud operator, if not better. And this is our DNA as a telco. We make sure that things run as it is. The other service that we have is what we call connectivity to multiple data centers. Now, this is important. Why? One of the biggest trends we notice in cloud is hybrid cloud. Today, you have cloud operator A, cloud operator B. You also have your own servers in the data centers. You have your own servers in your offices. So what we have done is to create a network, NPRS network, to connect all these different locations of yours to the operator's cloud. All right? In this case, if you want to go to Huawei, we'll make sure you have the best connectivity to Huawei's cloud from all different places. All right? It's not just the offices. In all major data centers in Singapore, if you are hosted in Equinix, Global Switch, of course, Keppel, we are now part of Keppel. If you're hosted in Keppel Data Center, we make sure you have the best connectivity to the cloud. All right? So this is one of the key propositions the operator can play. And I think where it differentiates us from another reseller or another partner is we now are combining all these products tightly into one. We believe the cloud and the connectivity are best sold and packaged as one, all right, with similar SLA matching. so that your services, when you have problem, when you go to the cloud, you look for a single provider that can offer you not just the cloud, but also the connectivity. And there's no point of failure. The point of failure will be a single point of failure, a single point of accountability, and that will be M1, all right? So it's our job to actually deliver this excellent service to you, to all the customers that we have. All right, this is my last slide. So those of you who are a bit tired, you can please make a phone call, SMS. It's okay, it help us on our revenue. All right, so in terms of connectivity, I mentioned, you have seen the connectivity we offer you from 100 meg all the way up to 10 gigabits. We also secure your journey, all right, from wherever you are, in the events hall, in the data center, in the enterprise, in the office, in the house, all the way to the cloud of choice that you want, all right? And from there, we don't stop there. We also provide the extra layer of support. A lot of people ask us, what do you know about cloud? How can you prove to us that you are better than most operators? To prove to them, we actually went to buy a reputable, decent-sized cloud operator last year. It's called AsiaPac. If most of you have worked in Singapore, you heard this company called AsiaPac. We bought them last year so that we can boost our cloud operations. These guys do cloud. They think, eat, sleep, cloud every day, all right? So we bought them, and now we have now added their capabilities to M1's capabilities. Not only do you help you shift your workload to the cloud, we help you to manage. We can now monitor all the single application you're running in the cloud, all right? Whether it's uptime, application performance, we can help you manage and operate and survey where are the lag points in the cloud, all right, that you need help on. Whether it's the database, connectivity, or latency at a certain point of the route there, all right? And monitoring, 24/7 monitoring, all right? The cloud journey doesn't end with just outsourcing to the cloud. We provide the 24/7 monitoring, 24/7 help desk. So you can call us, and we will fix that problem for you. So there's a lot of value that telco bring from a traditional point of view to the cloud. Of course, optimization, support. Even if your hybrid cloud is down, you need us to go and fix it for you. We will send the staff down to support you to actually make sure that the operation is running again. In our terminology, we do not differentiate. We treat the cloud as part of our products, okay? Lastly, I think that probably ends my presentation here. Now, before I end, I think I just want to thank Huawei for inviting me here for speak. As I say in Chinese, 千里之行，始于之下.
Thanks
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The step of a 1,000 journey start with a single step. Today, we are working with Huawei to start the first step together towards the multi-cloud, multi-vendor environments. And I hope customers can support us and we can work with Huawei happily. Thank you.
Thanks. Willis, I think you're in the wrong position. I think you should be the head of marketing at M1. You sold the company very, very well. And of course, the 5G world is coming, so God knows what's going to happen with speeds once we get to 5G fully operational. Last but not least, you heard earlier in Edward's presentation about recycling Huawei handsets in the rainforest to save the rainforest and to save the world, perhaps. Our next presenter and our very last presenter for the day is Borhan Yassin, who is the COO of the Rainforest Connection, who's going to talk to us about that project. Borhan, welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. I may not speak as fast as the presenter before me, but I'll try my best to be quick. So I want to announce something that has been truly great for us, and it truly helped us in our mission. We're an NGO based out of San Francisco, California. And several months ago, we started working with Huawei on a lot of exciting things, including being able to use the technology that Huawei has with AI and the cloud to fight deforestation and animal poaching. And this is what I want to tell you about today. So I'm part of an NGO called Rainforest Connection. I'm the chief operating officer. We create, we're based out of San Francisco, California. We create technology that can help stop illegal logging and deforestation. And we've actually now started in the last couple of years, and with the help of Huawei, to take this technology further and study different species of endangered animals. So to talk a little bit about why is deforestation so important. So 13% of the global carbon emission comes by way of transportation, and 17% of the global carbon emission is from deforestation. So deforestation is more than all of the cars, planes, ships, trucks combined. And if we talk about the rainforests once covered almost 14% of the Earth's land surface. Today, it's less than 6%. And researchers say that within 40 years, we may not have any rainforests at all. So as we mentioned earlier, nearly 1/5 of the global carbon emission stems from deforestation. About 50,000 species go extinct every year because of deforestation. And 50 to 90% of that deforestation is because of illegal logging. So 50 to 90% of that deforestation that happens is because of illegal logging. And so how do we solve this problem? Well, when we looked at it, we saw that, number one, you have people on the ground. In a lot of these rainforests around the world, there's people on the ground. And the second thing, there's connectivity. Surprisingly, and this is probably a recent phenomenon because of the encroachment of cities to rainforests. Surprisingly, there's connectivity. There's cell phone signal in a lot of these areas in the rainforest. And with the high-powered antenna, you can pick up a cell phone signal in some of the most remote areas in the rainforest. So what can we do? Well, we can use what we have in our pockets, which is a cell phone. And actually at the heart of each Guardian, this device that I have here with me, that I brought, is a Huawei cell phone. So each device inside of it is a Huawei cell phone, and it's we put a custom software on it, we put a custom Android OS on it, and we power this cell phone with an external battery, some solar panels to power it. And this is what makes the Guardian. We take these devices and we climb 100, 150 feet up a tree in the middle of the Amazon, in the middle of the rainforest, and we install these devices. And they sit there and they're recording 24/7. They record the sound of the forest. They record the sound of the forest. They connect to the cell phone signal. They connect to the cell tower, and they're able to transmit this data to the cloud. So this is real quick how our system works. As we mentioned, a cell phone that powers this entire thing connects directly through the cell phone signal to the cloud. Immediately, it's recording the sounds of the chainsaw. It's transmitting it up to the cloud. And using AI and machine learning, we're able to detect immediately when we sense illegal activities, things such as chainsaws, gunshots, vehicles. And we can alert the partners on the ground whenever these detections happen, so they can go and stop the people in the middle of the act. This single cell phone, this single device, has the capacity of protecting 3 square kilometers of forest. This is equal to saving 15,000 tons of carbon every single year, which also equates to saving 3,000 cars off the road. So a single device can cover 3 square kilometers of forest and can save 15,000 tons a year or 3,000 cars off the road. So tremendous impact these devices have. Today, we've deployed this technology in 10 countries on 5 continents, and we're protecting over 2,000 kilometers of forest. So you'll see us in Costa Rica, where the video that you saw earlier was shot, in Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Brazil, Sumatra, and South Africa. And with the help of Huawei, we want to create the world's largest soundscape of remote forest. So we're not just detecting illegal activity, we're also mapping out an entire soundscape of the forest. So all this data that we're recording, and as we stand today, we have over 80 years of audio on our servers. All this data, there's so much more that we can learn from, species and predictive analytics and so on. So by 2020, we hope to cover 6,000 kilometers of forest, collect 450 years of audio data, sequester 30 million tons of CO2, which equates to 6 million cars off the road, or 400 million trees saved. And as I mentioned earlier, in addition to detecting illegal activity in the forest, we're creating the world's first online bioacoustics platform powered by Huawei Cloud AI. And this platform is capable of detecting multiple calls within endangered species that are critical to the ecosystem. Spider monkey, howler monkey, Amazon parrot, orangutan, macaw, leopard, and many more. All these species are very critical to the entire ecosystem and to the survival of the rainforest. And we're working with Huawei to create AI models that are able to detect not just the presence and absence of these species, but also multiple calls within these species. So we're able to detect if a species is happy or sad or they're alarmed for some reason and so on. This is a sample of what we can detect with the platform. So it's a live stream and a live detection of what's happening in the forest as these devices that are sitting up in the trees, they're recording and they're transmitting the data back to the cloud. But we can even take it a step further, and this is what we want to focus on working with Huawei this year and next year, is how can we take this and even go to another level? Well, one of the things that we can do, this is an Amazon parrot. One of the things that we can do is we can actually use predictive analytics. The Amazon parrot, in a test that we've done in Peru, this animal can tell you about an event before it happens. So this animal starts making specific calls on, specific calls when something happens, when people are coming in and encroaching to their area and they're trying to do something illegal, whether cutting down a tree or trying to poach these animals or so on. So with the help of Huawei, we're going to work on predictive analytics, and we're going to work on being able to, through the study of species, to detect behavior of animals, behavior of the animals around it, and even things that are about to happen, but they haven't happened yet. And we're hoping to do that this year. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that was the most heartening presentation of the day. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
It's amazing what one handset can do, covering 3 kilometres of rainforest. I'm now going to go to my drawer at home and take out all the old ones and send them over to you. See if you can use them. Well, the future, as you now know, is going to be fully connected, intelligent world. Everyone, every home, every organisation will be an important link in the connection. Now, to finish off today, we're going to do something very unique. We're going to actually connect all the partners in Huawei on stage here, and we're going to have an electronic handshake. Now, you probably don't understand what that means, but it'll make sense in a few moments. I'd like to call up to the stage Mr. Wang Hongxin, who is the president of Huawei Cloud APAC. If you please come up here. Now, I've got little spaces on the floor here, and I just have to find... Oh, you're at that end. You're in the #1 position. See where the position is? I think you're... No, you're here. Oh, yeah. Every company has their own sticker on the floor. I'd also like to have Mr. Wang Bin, who is the Vice President of Huawei Cloud, to come up here. I've got too many people. Mr. Willis Sim, please come up here. Willis, where are you? You were here a minute ago. Oh, he's gone. Mr. Boyce Yang, who is the co-founder and COO of Hope Mobile. Hope Mobi, here he is coming up now. Round of applause for these people. Mr. Charles Zhang, General Manager of Advanced AI at Guardian. Here he is coming up, well done. And Mr. Jason Wang, Partner and CBO at Share. We had you presenting a little bit earlier on. Come on, Jason. Also, Howard Chen, who's the General Manager of Yonyu. Miss Miss, at last we've got a woman up here. I'm so happy to hear about this. Miss Vivi Wang, who's the co-founder and Senior Vice President of Mob Vista. Where is she? Is Vivi here? Perhaps she can. Oh, there she is. Welcome. Also, Mr. Hugh Hai Peng, who is the Regional Head of Partner and Alliance at Yi2 Technology. Mr. Diego, COO of Tecdo Technology. Mr. Li Jun, who is the Managing Director of Qingjian Realty. Welcome. And Mr. Oh, I'm going to have trouble with this Chinese name. Mr. King Qian Zhang, who is the COO of Kingsoft Office. You coming up? Okay. Also, Mr. Andrew Yong, who is Vice President APAC, Global Sales Group of Tata Communications. And Mr. Frank Wang, who is the COO and CFO of 2D Fire. Frank, are you there? Coming up? There he is, coming up. And last but not least, Gary Sievers, who is Senior Director and Channel Alliances for Asia Pacific and Japan for Veritas Technologies. Gary, are you there? Gary Sievers? Oh, he's there. Well done. Okay, right, we've got everybody lined up. Now, if you turn around, you're going to see somewhere on that screen to put your hand in a moment. Okay, wait for it to come up. Can you turn around and see if you can see it? It'll come up in just a few moments. Don't touch it till I tell you. Okay, you see your spot. It's the big blurry thing right in front of you, Willis. That's the one, yes. Now, when I tell you, I'm going to count to 3, or 3, 2, 1. On 1, I want you to touch that screen and you're going to electronically handshake and formulate and cement this new alliance and partnership with Huawei and all the partners. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Touch that wall. Whoa. Okay, you can let go now. You've done it. That's it. See what the power of partnership does? It's like nuclear fusion going on up there. And there's the action plan. Building a fully connected, intelligent Asia Pacific. Thank you one and all. Thank you so much. Okay, it only leaves me to tell you that we're going to, they want a photograph, so we'll stay up here, guys. While you're getting the photograph, let me tell the rest of you that lunch is being served outside, and at 2 o'clock the sessions will start. Not at 1:30. The AI innovation track will be in the Jasmine Ballroom, smart financing in room 3711, 3712, and the Internet innovation track in rooms 3611 and 3612. You'll find all the information just outside, and lunch will be on in a few moments. There you are. Fabulous. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Excellent. Well done.